Let's do this again then. Another computer game show. Just another computer game show.
Another one.
67 episodes in, are we? 267. Let's just do another one. My name's David Turners, and welcome to the computer game show. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello, that's quite some intro.
Sean Bell.
You all right?
And Sarah Dyer, you've returned.
I have. You invited me back.
We did. It doesn't happen often. So, and one of us was against the idea. I don't know if you
I heard.
know who that was.
Is it Farley?
It wasn't.
That's why he's not here.
That's why Farley's not here this week, because he's furious with the fact that we've gone against his wishes. No, it wasn't Farley. Of course it wasn't. It's Matt. I've noticed it on Twitter. There's been a few comments here and there. Are you two going to be all right today? Because there's a bit of beef developing.
Well, I'll be fine. It's fine. No, welcome back, Sarah.
Thanks. Normally I will get to the part in the podcast where you're like, okay, now it's time for the socials, and I'm like, right, okay, that episode's done. But
oh my, wow. Okay.
But I thought, this time I'll just see whether they mention that I'm on like this week. And so I heard your comments, and yeah, I gotta say I was a bit shocked.
No, I mean, no.
That reaction
when you said that. I just had a sip of drink when you said that, and the liquid went down my throat, back up again, then back down again, then back up again, and then I finally managed to go down.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I don't know if the podcast services let you see exactly like when people stop or start listening.
What turn off?
That's a point. That'd be some damning statistics there, wouldn't there?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can. I don't even want to check if it's not worth.
Yeah, I don't know.
My time checking that sort of analytics. But I'm sure. I don't know. Probably fine. I'm not even worried about that bit really.
So what is it? What did you say, Sarah? Well, you pulled him up on something on the last show, didn't you? That's where he's got the
I honestly cannot remember.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it worse. So, if anything, you don't even remember what you said, and I think that's the most hurtful thing, really.
Yeah. Well, come on in, Matt. What did she say?
What did she say?
Well,
you remember either.
You can't remember. It can't have been that bad if you can't remember it either.
Yeah, whatever it was, I was like, it's a bit, I mean, you don't go for the big gun when you come on a massive show like this. And you're like,
sorry, did you just refer to yourself as the big gun?
Well, I'm one of 4 big guns on the show, and
Matt,
my goodness,
Matt, that's your nickname from now on.
The big gun.
No,
you've just invented that
because people. Let's
Matt the Big Gun Murray. Oh God. That's too good. It's also the episode title.
Oh, obviously.
Which is...
Yeah, I wasn't even going to say it. But yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I first noticed. I mean, this is back when Sarah was last on, and then in the Discord, like the text chat, Sarah was really polite and was like, "Oh yeah, like I don't know what the procedure is, but like if you want to remove me from the channel or whatever, that's fine." And then Matt just replied like, "Yeah, I might remove you to be honest," or something. Okay, what you said.
I'm just keeping a tight ship. It was obviously nothing personal.
Yeah, that was it.
That was weird.
Yeah, you were just I've scrolled up and I can see the message, and you're just like, yeah.
I might remove you.
I might boot you out.
That was it.
I might boot you out.
I didn't use those words, did I?
I'm looking directly at the message right now. You don't even have to scroll up very far.
Jesus.
Well, now we know that Matt's what happens when Matt's ego gets dented a little bit.
This is true. I'm just a lovely bit of admin. Just so it's
vicious.
Just us 4 lit up. So you don't have anyway, it's great to have you back on, Sarah.
Thank you.
We'll start the show by announcing our Patreon producers for this month, and hopefully everyone calms down a bit. And our Full Nels crew are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira, Graham Mackay, Rocketman76, My Dog Skip, Rex Reese, Matt Murray is my favourite podcaster. Might need to change that name.
Nope.
And Matt Morley's brother Mike. Thank you so much for your support on TCGS. Patreon.com/TCGS. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit nervous here because there's some tension in the room. And if you would like to support us, then please go to patreon.com/TCGS. Check out the various different tiers we got on offer there. Matt will mention them at the end of the show, but according to Sarah, you'd all have tuned out by then.
This
So
is
I'll
why.
let you know now.
I think didn't in the official golden age of TCGS when Dave was off that year. Didn't we do like we put the socials at the beginning, didn't we? I think
we did. We did.
Yeah, but what? So you want them to tune out right at the start of the show?
Well, no, they're less likely to tune out right at the start.
Them.
I mean, in my defence, I tune out of the socials because I already follow you on everything.
That's true.
Oh, look
That's
at
true.
that. That's an olive branch, Matt.
It is.
That was a podcast equivalent of an olive branch handed out there, mate.
Well,
Are you going to take it?
I appreciate the follows. So
Wow.
You might want to check your accounts now, Sarah, to make sure you haven't been blocked. Because he has got the keys.
If I find you
Soft
haven't
blocked.
followed us on Pinterest, I'm going to be livid.
But yeah, please go to patreon.com/TCGS to check out bonus shows and live talksovers and all that sort of stuff. Shall we get to feedback?
We're going to start with Ricky Cartwright. Morning, guys. Well, it's not the morning now, Ricky. It's the evening. Just listening to this week's podcast on my cycle into work and heard Dave's laboured introduction of Sean Bell stepping up to the news desk. Dave was searching for a suitable moniker for Sean in line with James the News Goblin Farley, but failed. Please can I suggest that in future, when Sean steps up to the plate, he is announced as Sean the News Husband Bell. News.
Because my wife's name is New,
Yes.
for anyone who isn't aware.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Because you've had to say that.
Yeah.
That's why we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Whereas the news boggling, I think, is way funnier. But no, I haven't got any. I'm not against that, Ricky Cartwright. Thanks for the suggestion, but I think if you've got to explain it, it sort of loses the.
Yeah, if you've got to say the
loses
news,
power.
open bracket, news, close bracket, husband, Bell, it's kind of.
Well, plus it's pronounced new rather than new, so it's the news.
Yeah,
husband.
I know, but hold on, that's not the problem.
If we
with
were
it.
American, we'd be all right.
Okay, I think you've taken
I
it
say
so
news.
far with that
I'm
criticism.
just saying it's different pronunciations, so it doesn't quite work.
Do you say that when there's like a funny pun joke as well? Well, actually, that's not quite the same word, is it?
Yes. Yes, I do. I do
Yes,
often do that.
Very good.
If people try to do a rhyme that doesn't quite work, or if they're trying to do, like trying to fit, like, you know, people tweet like, oh, imagine this to the tune of like, you know, the EastEnders theme or whatever, and I'm like, that is one syllable too many. Go back, try again. It's not.
You get that in kids' books every now and then, don't you? You go,
I mean, I'd let them off in
they
a kid's
really
book.
didn't even bother with this one.
I'd let them off in a kid's book.
I'm actually worse. Like, cause sometimes it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like the rest of this thing flows beautifully, and then you've thrown an extra 2 syllables on that line. You fucked that. That was a Friday afternoon job, definitely.
Yeah, and I suppose, to be fair, with a kid's book, it's sort of even more annoying because it's like, you know, I've got to read this out aloud to someone, and I've got to now do the work that you couldn't be bothered to do and make it fit. It's like...
Over to you, parents. Right, should we move on?
Yes. Dan Gargett, regarding giant lenses and kids' parties, I was in a soft play at Hullabazoo in Whipsnade, and after losing
What a name.
And after losing my tiny 2-year-old in a sea of big kids for a split second, I turned around and to see a grown-up giving off a bad vibe with a camera lens longer than some of the hurdles in the soft play itself, just snapping photos. Now, willy-nilly. I know we talked about this last time, but like in lots of these places, you're just not allowed to take photos. And I don't care if you got
actually in a soft play, that is extra fucked up.
I-
How were they even allowed in the building with the camera like that?
See, I can't help but be concerned by the fact that Darren says that after losing my 2-year-old in a sea of big kids, he then turns around. So is he just
looks
like,
away
kids
from him.
gone? Great, I'm off.
Well, I can't see her in that massive crowd, so maybe she's elsewhere.
I'm sure she's in there
One
somewhere.
Mississippi,
I'm going to
2
go get
Mississippi, 3, fuck it.
I'm going to get a really terrible latte instead.
I mean, a coffee-flavoured drink.
Charitably, can we assume the photographer was hired by the venue, maybe? But then, no, they still need a release form for every kid in there.
This is what I'm thinking, right? Is that where they start? Like, is that how the profession ladder goes? You start off at a soft play and then end up at the local nightclub, taking snaps of Dean Gaffney on his public appearance. Is that how it works? Then you move up and then it's football.
Maybe I didn't think about that.
Is that the path? I don't know. I'm
trying to get
right
more.
In if you're a photographer.
I was going to say I'm trying to get more work as a freelance photographer, so maybe this is it.
Yeah, it's a starting point,
I
mate.
wouldn't recommend that being the starting place. Just fine. Do something. Landscape photography, anything else, but I wouldn't recommend every budding photographer run down to your local soft play.
There'll be too much competition. We'll all be like, you'd be showing up and there's a bit 3 other guys with cameras. Just, oh, fuck's sake.
Exactly. There'll be like a million camera people and there'll be no kids in the soft play.
Fighting, scrapping outside. Scrapping inside in the ball pool.
Having a great time, to be fair.
This is my turf. Yeah, I'd watch that. That'd be great. Because you could just like chuck them off the top of the slide and they'd just bounce off those padded mats at the bottom. It'd be great. Okay, right, let's get that done. All photographers, let's go down to Hullabazoo.
In Whipsnade.
Let's get that done.
Stephen Scow has emailed in feedback.
Nice.
Maybe Dave was just ranting at the world when he was talking about always forgetting which axis in which game menu options. Always forgetting which axis was which in game menu options in the petty things that piss you off section. And this used to happen to me all the time until somebody told me which was which in a way I'd never forget. X is a cross. X is a cross.
I mean, don't get us started on the X versus cross stuff again. But yeah, no, that's good.
Do you know, I tried something like that because I would say, why wouldn't I change this? But the problem was when I got to that menu again, I go, why would or wouldn't I change this? I can't remember.
What?
I can't remember what my thing was. And just say up or down, left or right. That's easier, right? That's just easier.
No one needs to know whether it's X or Y axis. Like, we're not. I mean,
not at our level. No,
they really don't.
And
I get
no level needs that. Unless your audience is like mathematicians playing games.
Well,
no one
I
needs to know
get a text every week from John Denton going, "How are you an architect and you don't know what an X and Y axis is?" I'm like, I do, but in that moment when I'm trying to invert it, I'm not. My brain's not in that mode. Just say up or down, left or right, and then it's straightforward. There's no need to put anything else there. Come on.
Dave, you know your work. They're like, yeah, so we need this thing to, this angle, this degree. You're like, is that left or right? Like, no, it's not really.
I'll look at them and go, why wouldn't I change this?
Why wouldn't I add that?
Cut to me with a cardboard box walking out of the office with my personal belongings in it. Yeah.
Ian Gorka Collins, Matt spoke of his newfound disgust of Skyward Sword on the Switch. I've just sold my copy, having got to the final fight. With Gahirahim? Is that
Girahim, I think.
Girahim.
Matt's obviously played loads of Skyward Sword.
No, I haven't. I sold it.
I just sort of clip that bit though. Gahirahim.
Yeah, and run into the wall. That is the fight controls. I've modelled up until now, switching between joystick and motion as required. But I can only do the... Sorry, how do you pronounce it, Sarah?
Girahim.
Yeah. I can only do the Girahim fights by some
That's
wild
not how
flaming...
Sarah said it. What did
I must admit, like I've never played the game. I just think that's how you say it. So
no,
it was just
the fact that he asked you and then disregarded your advice.
Yeah, well, the beef is still there, Sean.
Yeah. He's trying to subtly break you down. He's just like,
yeah.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see who wins that.
Okay, Girahim. Is that right, Sarah?
There we go. Well, we don't actually know. We don't actually know, Matt. That's the best bit.
I like the fact that Sarah's become like the expert in boss names for Zelda now.
Anyway,
is that right? Can you confirm?
I can only do that Girahim fight, boss and wild flailing and dumb luck. This didn't seem to work for the final fight, so after so many attempts, I remembered I already completed it on the Wii, and I didn't need to push through for the story. It was with no small sense of relief that I decided to trade it in and have done. It's a beautiful game with for the most part, a lovely story, but that control system just broke it for me. When I got to the final boss...
Yeah, I mean, you could have had that fault that you've played through it, like, before you loaded it up in the first place,
well,
couldn't
before
you?
you even bought it again.
Yeah.
I mean...
Okay, well, you enjoyed it up to that point, so
yeah,
that's
still
something at least.
that's value for money still, I guess.
Yeah, you got a lot of value out of that if you got all the way to the end.
Yeah.
May the Triforce be with you. Wait, did Matt grab himself a Wii and not a Wii U? I may have misheard. The Wii U trumps the Wii in hindsight with the backwards compatibility and access to Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. Get on it, Matt. Much love. Yeah, the Wii U was way more expensive than CEX.
Yeah.
And,
Was it?
It was kind of it. Well, it was an impulse buy, and like, okay, I'll just go out and get it. But I
Yeah, it's
wasn't
like
gonna,
£60 more, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot more. I just wanted to. Well, I never owned a Wii U, so I never had that kind of. Oh, I want to get that console again. Where's the Wii? I did, and it was cheaper. So
Can't believe
I
you
mean,
never
to be
owned Nintendo's greatest console.
to be fair, they look exactly the same. You wouldn't have noticed. Like they're pretty similar, like little white boxes or whatever. But no, I thought that when I saw these messages coming in saying, "Why didn't you get a Wii U?" I was like, well, of course, yeah, because the Wii U plays the Wii games. It's got the sensor bar and everything. It's got HDMI, so you don't have to worry about any of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously, it'll run things a little better, on your TV and stuff. On that TV and that, it runs a little bit better, doesn't it? But then, yeah, when I looked it up and saw it was about £60 cheaper, I think you made the right choice there, Matt.
yeah, definitely, absolutely.
You get the nod.
It's 90 quid to buy a Wii U.
Did those weird ones, those weird Wiis ever come out? Those little really mini ones, but they weren't actually mini. They
the
were about
little
the
red
same
one.
time.
Yeah, the red.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
that
I
came out.
I had the option, but when I went to get mine, they're like, "Do you want do you want the white one or the red mini one?" And I hadn't done my research beforehand, but frankly, I went for the original. But then it's just as well because after looking at it afterwards, thinking, "Oh, did I make the wrong decision? Should I have got that red one?"
Isn't it?
Apparently, they lose some features that the original Wii's had. So
No disc
How could you
drive.
lose features? That's what's nuts about it. Like,
Nintendo.
what features? Oh, yeah, it is Nintendo. You're absolutely right.
Because that was right towards the end of the Wii's life as well, wasn't it? That came
It really
out.
was. Yeah.
And
It was they were trying to just get a few more sales out of the balance board stuff and all that. weren't they?
Yeah.
Try and get a few of those out of the warehouse. All right.
yeah, I was just like, so basically, the Wii Mini, it doesn't support GameCube games or accessories.
Oh,
It didn't have SD card support. Couldn't play HD video. Didn't have online functionality apparently.
What? Oh, hang on. So
What weird
Oh
console.
no! So I thought this was a digital only one. Is it not? It's the
No.
opposite. Disc only.
I don't.
It was kind of like it was the way I always kind of saw it was like the Wii for your parents who would only ever be playing like Wii Sports and Wii Fit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Although
the Wii Mini does have a
try-
disk drive. It does.
Trying to upload your scores and stuff. That wouldn't actually. Could you do that in Wii Sports? You couldn't even do that in Wii Sports, could you?
Don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
There's no online
Compare
leaderboards.
sports.
I mean, I don't know if that changed for Wii
Nintendo-
Sports at all.
Come on now.
If you could upload your
Nintendo,
scores
come
on Wii Sports, I'd have been absolutely unbearable because I made the little line. You know, as like the line chart of your scores on each sport. I made the boxing one go off the top of the screen.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
well, there's
So-
a stream. There's a stream. Let's go and see.
All right, Jake Paul.
Let's see how good
Can
you
I
are.
do it again?
Sean.
Yeah. No, because I'm
Claim.
36 and I'm overweight and I'm not the man I was then, Dave. I did.
Right. Okay. Go on.
Oh, yeah, because there's a pun there with something like boxing bell, or there's something
yeah.
there with
Ring the
against
bell. I don't know. Something about ringing bells.
Yeah, we can do this. Okay,
Yep.
Gordon Brown. Yes, it's
We
probably
can do
that
this.
one.
We can do this.
Re Chester Zoo. Initially, I felt quite bad for Sean for missing out visiting Chester Zoo with the Murray family. However, after a bit of reflection, it does raise some interesting scenarios. I feel like it would have made for a slightly odd zoo trip dynamic of Matt and his family and Sean just randomly with them, like an large extra child or something. If Sean had joined on this visit, Would you have expected Matt to pay for his ice cream, or would he have bought a packed lunch? Who would have been more scared in the bat house, Matt or Sean? Much to discuss.
There is a lot to discuss here, right? So say that was the scenario.
Yeah.
Right. What would you have done with like food and that? Would you, if you were bringing a packed lunch, would you have bought something for Sean, Matt? That's
definitely,
question.
yeah. If Sean was coming, because I think we did bring a packed lunch because we'd always spend like £1,000 at, actually it's probably, we spent a lot of money at Legoland the week before, or in that same week.
What is that? What is in that packed lunch, Matt? You got a penguin bar?
I was going to say, there'd be a penguin bar.
No, because it was warm, so no, I wasn't going to bring you chocolate.
Tactical,
so
I like it. Do you not have a cool box for this sort of stuff?
I mean, we do,
actual.
But
Come on, Dad.
We didn't bring you chocolate bars.
No chocolate, Dad. What? Right. Okay. So the next question then: who would be more scared in the Batcave?
I'm a seasoned veteran at this point.
Yeah, I don't think he would be too scared in the Batcave. I really wanted to visit it, but clues.
There's another stream. There's another stream.
Visit the Batcave. You won't be able to see anything. But
you'd be able to hear Matt's screams at the top of his voice.
Curdling screams.
It's in my hair.
It'd be like, have you ever seen? I've definitely brought it up before. Have you ever seen Ghost Hunting with the Happy Mondays?
No, I
have seen that. It's so good.
It is, because it's just like a load of people who used to do a lot of drugs and don't anymore, but are still haunted by the voices in their own heads.
Yeah,
just being trapped in the dark for a bit. And
one of them very much seems like he is possibly still on.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
Something a little bit milder, but definitely something. Or he's at least had a couple of pints before they started filming.
Yeah. But it's as with all those Ghost Hunter shows, it's just a load of people with cameras just going like, oh, what was that? Oh, did you hear that? Oh, did you feel that? That's what it would be, with me and Matt. So I think one just flew near my face. Oh, did it? Oh, where is it now? I don't know.
See, you can go on like ghost hunting nights.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're like
we want to go there
public.
for adult night, right? That's where we want to go.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you can say
whatever the hell you like.
We can say whatever the hell we like. I think that would actually make for a good episode. Like,
really
even
would.
as a podcast, if the four of us went on a ghost hunting trip, and I'm talking the four of us, right? not James. The four of us, because James would be sitting there going, "The whole thing is illogical. They don't exist." I know, James, but get into the spirit.
Oh yeah, you have to like just go with it.
Yeah, we'd also have the sort of fiery anger between Matt and Sarah going on at the same time. So
at that point, I would have
that.
forgotten that because I would have been too shit scared of the dark and the ghosts.
also, you wanna not bring negative energy in case the spirits start to feed off of the negative energy.
And then it'll be a great twist when Matt turns up dead.
Yeah, I wonder who did this. Was it Ethel the ghost? Or one of the other people, Sarah.
That's the problem. If I went on one of those, all I'd be doing is spending my whole time quoting that sketch from I Think You Should Leave. Like, that is it. Do any of these fuckers fly out of the fucking wall? Like, lot, it would be all I'd be saying. So maybe we'll consider it. We'll consider put it in the ideas pile, Matt, and we'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
I do know a few places that do it.
Oh my god. It's tempting.
I'm scared already.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't last a second.
See, I'd love us to do an escape room together and film that.
I love an escape room.
They're so good.
Okay.
See?
All right, well, we've got all these ideas, haven't we? But no time.
No time
to do any of them. Yeah. That's the problem.
No, we'll just have to combine them. We'll do like a haunted escape room with bats in. And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Okay. Merjam, feedback. Hearing Matt call Rowling a fucking... Merjam, is that what I said?
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Miriam, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Sarah? I mean, the way it's... Okay, so the way it's written there, I would say Merjam, but I am wondering, have you copied and pasted it?
I mean,
or did you just read it and type it out.
No, I copied and pasted this from the.
Or maybe it could be
Let's go
Miriam.
with
Yeah.
Merjam.
So
Let's go with
Merjam.
it's spelt like that. It's a Dutch, Estonian, Finnish, and German feminine given to the name it cognates to Miriam. So yeah, it's Miriam.
Okay.
Ah.
All right. Well, we've learnt something today.
Yeah,
Don't
fucked
ask
up
me what a
already.
name
Anyway.
cognate is.
Let's get. When you said Merjam, I thought, oh, is he falling for another one of those names? Oh God.
Hearing
let's
Matt
go.
call Rowling a fucking turf completely made my day. Loving the show and loving the respect you guys have towards the diversity. Never political, but just being natural. Long time listener and trans person, Merjam. Or if I butchered your name, I do apologise.
No politics, please.
The investigator. Does Jar Jar have to speak Jamaican? Oh, sorry, no, fucking hell. Okay. Does Jar Jar, because I was getting ahead of myself, does Jar Jar have to have Jamaican ties? I don't think it's essential for portraying a Gungan. One of the 3 Gungans we hear speak during the film is Brian Blessed.
I mean, you're absolutely right, but that wasn't the point in the discussion, was it? I mean, you're totally right. You're having a discussion that was being made when episode 1 come out. Like, did it have to go down this route? The answer is no.
Probably not.
But
I mean,
George
we don't
Lucas
know.
seems to be completely insensitive to all of these issues. So that's the way it went.
We don't know enough about Gungan culture, do we?
Do we need to? I mean, the brief...
now I do, yeah. I want to have investigation because I feel like
An investigation.
I feel like Blake would have said yes if either.
No, I
no way
don't
Blake
think there's
would
anything
play.
that
No.
exonerates Blake for doing
No,
it.
no,
Not that he
we've been
did
over
it.
this.
but
We've
you
been
know
over this.
No, they did it. Just to let you know, he
Just
didn't
in
play
case,
Jar Jar
just in
Binks.
case anyone's listening, just thinking, hang on a minute, I didn't realise Blake Harrison from The Inbetweeners had played Jar Jar Binks
Jar
in the
Jar
Star Wars
Binks.
sequel. What have I missed?
Well, if we just say it enough, people will believe it.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll just reference it here and there. That's a good idea.
Yep.
That's a good idea. We'll do that.
This is someone who's called I've Got James's Back. Whoa, James is off. So surprise, there's another dig at James from Sean at the 47 and 15 mark. This seems to happen every time the man is off. So I ask you, Sean, what's your problem with James?
What was the dig? I didn't get a chance to look this up.
I can find it. You keep talking.
Okay. No problem with James whatsoever. I have a pop in when he's on the show as well. It's just funny, isn't it? And he has a go at me as well.
Whether
It's
he's on
fine.
or whether he's off.
It's
Lovely
all-
little
He
pop.
is always saying that you're sitting on the fence and that.
That's you that
And he-
says that, though.
Yeah, I know, but he reiterates
joins
that
in.
point. He does join in. Right, so I'm close to it. So 47 minutes 15. Let's have a listen to this portion of the incredible podcast.
This obviously wasn't last week, it was the week before.
Oh, because he wasn't it? Oh,
Yes. I'll do another question when we come back to that. Alex79 UK. Dear
No, hang on, it
TC
was last week, wasn't it?
Weren't we all back on last week? Or
No.
Yeah, we were all back on last week.
No, we weren't. Because I talked about Axiom Verge 2 and James wasn't there.
Oh yeah, good.
Oh,
So-
right, okay. Well, the week before that was Robocop. Yeah,
See,
so
James, I'm the one who remembers whether you were here or not, mate. So
Right, slow down. James is off, so no surprise. He was off last week, so it was last week's show. Well, let's listen to 47:15.
Yes,
ready?
please.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So, you know, like smaller studios, like it's a tenuous fucking existence at the best of times. If they were expecting like a payment from Square Enix that has not arrived, just mysteriously, then that is that's really shit for them. And yeah,
I mean, James Farley isn't a small studio, so
No.
that's not really a dig at him. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about there. I've got James back, but it sounds like you haven't got James's back because you would have got the episode and the time code correct. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Yes, let's. Alex79 UK. Dear TCGS, come on over and do the twist. Aha. All right, lads. It was interesting listening to Matt's identity crisis on last week's show. I just wanted to email in to say something I can totally relate to. The worst thing for me is other kids' birthday parties. I will take one of our boys along, and you can see all the dads stood around talking, looking like they've been banging together wardrobes or cutting down trees all morning. And there's me in my shorts, hoodie, and waist-length hair, even though I'm a 42-year-old man. This is compounded by the fact I spent the last 25 years professionally working with 99% women, first in early years managing children's nurseries, and now as a children's social worker. Most of my friends are women because I just so rarely encounter other blokes. I can join in with other mums conversations, and I can see the other dads look at me and think, what a prick. But the truth is, I'd love to be able to go and join in with a conversation that maybe even makes some new friends, but I don't. I stay where I am, debating the merits of leaving conditioner and shellac nail polish. Anyway, there's no point to this email other than to let Matt know there are probably loads of us who feel the same, as if other dads are proper dads, and we live our lives in fear that we're always only ever moments away from getting found out as an imposter. Cheers, lads. Thanks for the entertainment you give us every week. That's from Alex.
Aww.
Yeah, I got to cover more tweets about it saying, don't worry, Matt. I feel the same. So it wasn't
I've got a few things to say, right?
Oh, go on, Dave.
Like, firstly, if you're looking over and you're having conversations with other mums and there's a bunch of blokes looking over thinking, what a prick, your first instant thought shouldn't be, I wish I could go over to you and be your friend. Like, you should probably look at them and go, you want to calm down a bit.
Yeah.
I don't want
thinking, what a prick.
that. What the fuck? Fuck those guys. Like, honestly, I've got a weird view on this stuff. I just don't want to know anyone. That's my problem. I'm just like, if you think that of me because I'm not, just go fuck yourself. I'm not interested. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you would even look at that sort of false. I don't know, that false macho, meta dad, like all that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck it. Just be who you want to be. Go and talk to who you want to talk to. Just don't sound like you want to talk to people that are looking over at you like that. Fuck all that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
I was just going to say, because it wasn't about, like, you as a dad, was it, Matt? Necessarily. It was just that there was loads of tough lads with tattoos and shit hanging around.
It's just,
and that was just a bit,
I mean, probably less dad, just more just generally existing in the world. I'm like, there's always other... Well, I guess there's always other dads or people in families with, tattoos, and they're big, and I'm just like, I'm just me I'm still in the same mindset as I was in year 6 or whatever it was, worrying about what my car I'm going to buy next. You know what I mean?
So yesterday I was at a playground with Isaac, and there was a fucking massive slide, and basically he climbed up to the top. And then shat it and was just like, Daddy, don't want to do it, I'm scared. And I was like, all right, mate, come back down, it's fine. And he climbed back down, gave him a hug, told him it was all right, ran off, did some other stuff, and then 5 minutes later he went back up and then went down the slide and he loved it. Like, no bother, no drama whatsoever. During all this, 2 other dads were in the same situation and were just fucking shouting at their kids to go down the slide, and just being awful, just like, don't be a wimp, I was like, come on, you're being ridiculous, just all that shit. And I was just like, this is horrible, but also I've never felt so reassured about who I am and the approach that I take to these things. Do you know what I mean?
That's just shitty parenting, isn't it?
Yeah. And one of the dads was like he was absolutely ripped, and he was wearing a muscle fit t-shirt and these tight shorts with the t-shirt tucked into the shorts.
Oh no!
And it's I know you really want everyone to see you, mate, but come on, it's not a good look.
I do that, but I'm not ripped. They just see the outline of a plump.
Check out my belly.
Yeah. He's enjoying life. Yeah, I am.
But yeah, basically, just reinforcing Dave's point. Those dads are arseholes. Fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying big dads with tattoos are arseholes. No. I'm saying people that are judging you for the way that you're
exactly.
talking to. I don't know. There's so much pressure. There's enough pressure alone being a parent. You don't need that stuff as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
It's fuck all that shit. Don't worry about it, Matt.
Sort of, well, not entirely separate. Are you thinking of getting any tattoos, Max? I know you mentioned it in the past.
Oh, I think about it probably once a day, every day for
What's stopping you?
Fear.
One.
It's legitimate.
How long have you got? I mean, okay. So one of my things is,
they're really not that bad. In fact, they're quite addictive, and I swear to God, I would have got way more had I not been financially incapable. That was my problem. I couldn't really afford them, and also, my girlfriend, now wife, didn't like them.
Really?
Although even she bought me one. She bought me my Queens of the Stone Age one.
Here's a massive one on your face. It's a massive face.
Yeah,
she massive did, spider web
for my birthday
on your face.
But yeah, no, I was like, after you come out. After you've got one done, you'll walk past the tattoo shop and hear that noise again and go, I just want to go in there now. Just like belly flop on the couch and just go, do what you want.
The way I always describe them is they're like hangovers. So like, you know, when you're really, really, really like deep into a hangover, you're like, this is awful. Why did I drink? Never drinking again. It's not worth it. Same thing when you're getting a tattoo and you're laying there and you're like, why the fuck do I do this to myself? It's not worth it. Never doing it again. And then like 2 weeks later, someone's like, do you want to go for a pint? And then the cycle starts again. And you walk past the tattoo studio and you hear the needle go and you're like, oh, now I want another one.
I know.
Same thing. Exact same thing.
Feeling. Yeah, I should have just gone with it. Just got fully done. But no, too much money for me. Matt just can't do it. You want to
So thoughts on tattoos. I mean, we'll definitely get some video game news at some point. But one of it is so I've got saved folders on Instagram of all these like art studios, like artists, are like colour, this, that, and the other. But these tattoos I think they look cool. What if in a year, 5 years, 10 years, I'm like, well, this doesn't look cool anymore. It's not like I'm getting a tattoo to like commemorate my dead nan, where that will always have meaning. This might just be like a phase that actually later on, I'll know, why did I get that? I mean, when I was 19, I wanted to get like Chester Bennington's like flames on his wrists. I might be a bit like, oh, fucking hell, very glad I didn't do that. So there's that, my taste might change. Also, like when I go out to places like, when I go on holiday or a swimming pool, whatever, there's always like a dad in there with shit tattoos, and I'm like, well, what? I might be that dad with a shit tattoo.
Just make sure you don't get a good one.
But okay, and I get that, but now I think, wow, but so why are always people getting shit tattoos? Like, I mean,
does it matter? Like, that's their minute. It's nothing to do.
Yeah, I know.
Just let them. That might mean something to them. It's not important. But all I'll say is you got two options. You go out and get Big Gun Murray tattooed across the back, right? Because that's never going out. That's never going away. That. Yeah.
Just a big
just gun. A massive gun on your back. Or you get TCGS tattooed across the chest. They're your two options. Timeless tattoos. Those.
Yeah. No.
Matt, is there any, I know you said you've got a load of stuff saved, like favourite tattoo places and stuff. Is there anything in particular you would want to get tattooed, or is that another thing you just can't even pick one thing?
No, I mean, a lot of the artists I found, like Sneaky Mitch and some others, like I really love like things of animals. I mean, I'll definitely go like black and white only, not colour.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind like
Could you get like a lion, but he's sleeping and 20 yards or like far too far away, 200 yards away, you can't actually see him. Yeah. Reminds you of your Chester Zoo trip.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful memory of a lovely day where the animals couldn't be fucking bothered to turn up, unlike us. So I've got like swallows or something. I don't know. I've got like loads of ideas, but I've never like anyway. Anchor. And also I'm like, fucking hell, I'm getting older now. I should have done this when I was younger. Right. It's not a bit late now to suddenly have a tattoo when I'm like 38, balding man. Like, I'm not say balding, I'm bald.
Fuck it, do it.
Okay, maybe I will.
I mean, it says another man who also doesn't have any tattoos and has thought about it a lot. But yeah.
Okay, tattoo chat.
Lots to okay. We will end. Oh no, we've got two more. Oliver Quest, VR Sean. To make the most out of my name and get a discount on hoodie print, I'm starting an Oculus Quest club and would like Sean to be the face of the organisation. I'm yet to meet a more devout VR adopter. He's out there every week covering the highs and lows of that system. Matt gets the attention with his Matt Murray appreciation cult. It's a club actually, but I think it's high time Sean gets some love for his VR love. To seal the deal, I'll just need a picture of you sporting the headset while posing with the controller between your best prayer hands. I think I'll make for a cracking hoodie to wear at our weekly meetings, to which you're welcome.
Do you, Oliver Quest, do you guys meet with that new thing that Oculus have released, the weird sort of shared workspace thing? Because, I mean, I think we should try and stream something inside that. I think it'll be awful to actually use.
I think it'll be funny.
Yeah, just like just us all just sitting around at desks pretending to work, and then be like, "Oh, guys, can we have a quick meeting? I need to show you something on the whiteboard," and then just start drawing genitals and stuff. And
and that's what we'd do. Yep. Yeah, without a doubt. Matt, can you put down the ideas pile as another one for the ideas pile?
That doc is filling up. But yes, absolutely. We're going to end with Big Clint Torres. Now,
that doesn't work.
Don't really
does
work.
it?
No.
Nah.
Doesn't work.
What's it?
No.
Is it meant to be something?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, we
is
all
that-
know, don't we?
Oh,
Is that
I get
big-
it.
You take the N out, and then
Yeah,
take the N out, and then you
doesn't work.
No.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. Okay, mention of the Breville sandwich maker last week gave me a big hit of a great hit of nostalgia. So here's a recipe that will make all your lives better: 2 slices of plain white bread and 2 ginger nut biscuits in opposite corners of the sandwich. The toasted ginger nut biscuit sandwich is pure joy in food form. All the best, Big
Wait, hang
Clint.
on. What?
Torres.
Wait, whoa. So
No.
what? Is there two corners of the bread with just nothing on them? I'm
No,
confused.
you know when you get
No, that's how toasties work, isn't it?
yeah, you have.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Right. Yeah. But doesn't it?
That just sounds really dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? There's no moisture
Unless,
there at all.
I mean, is there enough? No, I was going to say, is there enough sugar in a ginger nut that it sort of melts? I don't
as a
think
cheeky
so.
treat. As a cheeky treat, sometimes I like to sprinkle some sawdust on top.
I'm going
zhuzh it
to
up.
try this. This sounds nice.
I mean, I'm intrigued.
I'm trying that. That's very much it for feedback because, my God, it's 40 minutes.
I just want to say the one that Matt has skipped is critical of him, but it's fine. We'll move on.
Oh no!
Okay.
Well, we can go back to that. I mean, I was just
That's
doing
right,
it for time, but no. Okay, Brent Hedgeforth, Matt, thanks for your useful chat about Halo Infinite's upcoming release. I completely agree. I was running a little bit late for work this week, and thanks to your chat, I realised that I could arrive on time if I simply skipped unessential parts of my morning routine. Getting dressed and catching the bus, both very much a multiplayer of getting to work. Showering, the co-op campaign of the morning. That's what I say. Leave that one for 2022, and I know Matt would agree. Glad to be back in the office from Brent. I know what you're saying, right? But no.
Okay.
I think I know.
What a comeback. Well, you've certainly defended your point well there, Matt.
I get what I said last week. It was probably a bit stupid when I said that I didn't think it was being rushed, even though it's coming out without all the features that it had previously promised.
You would expect from a standard Halo
Yes.
game, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, no. Thanks for the email, Brent. I think you got me there, and I don't think I've got it in me to actually argue back.
Matt has got a lot to think about after
I've
tonight's
got a
show,
lot
hasn't
to
he?
think about. It's been a very demanding 42 minutes so far, but that is it for feedback. You can go to TCGS. Dear TCGS, if you want to leave some feedback or a message.
Let's get on to the news. Sean Bell.
Hello. Gamescom is happening. I actually don't know if it's a physical event or not. I assume it is. I've literally
I don't know anymore.
no.
All I'll say is, I mean, we're going to go through some announcements. Let's not go through all of them.
Nah.
Let's keep this
Don't
quite
worry,
condensed.
don't
Good. But what I will say is that I've not really heard much from it, and I know I've not been about much. But there's not like I was expect. I watched the Xbox one, the opening night live one.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was. I watched one of them, and it was like, okay, all right, that's it. Is it? Like there was nothing big, was there? I don't know. Oh, you tell me, Sean.
I will.
You tell
I
me.
bloody will. So yeah, Gamescom opening night live, the Jeff Keighley extravaganza kicked off with a reveal of a new Saints Row game, which it looks like very scaled back. You know, the other ones started just getting more and more ridiculous, which I think was good. Like I enjoyed them for what they were.
Yeah, but they overplayed it. I mean, they're absolutely doing the right thing with this one.
Yeah.
Just calm it down a bit. It was like someone in it. It's like a dad in it coming in and going, calm down. You know what I mean?
Can we just
when the kids are going nuts,
take
it's
it
like,
down a notch, please.
You've just got to calm down now because this is getting too much. President, superhero, this just all calm down. I think, we'll see what comes of the series. What I will say about those games is that they play really well, at the very least.
Yeah.
And not only that, you can't shy away from some of the humour is just not good anymore. You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, it wasn't great back then, to be honest with you, but comedy moves on. And if they were to still go for that same "here's a dildo" thing, then I just don't think it would have worked.
No.
You know what I mean? And
it was so strange because, like, there was all that stuff, and yet there were elements of them that were actually like weirdly progressive, especially at the time. Like Saints Row 2, like your gender was like a sliding scale, like it wasn't just a binary thing. And it's like, holy shit, how many other games have done that? Like, you know, even like all the years since. And like, you know, like clothes had like no sort of assigned gender, like it was just like wherever you want.
When you're in the same game and you're trying to break prostitutes out of shipping containers,
exactly.
It kind of then you look at all that other stuff and go, were you doing that for laughs, or were you doing that to be genuinely progressive?
The men can wear dresses.
Yeah,
like,
look, those games played well. There was a time where I thought they were, good. Never went into the sort of great territory, but I think the right idea is to scrap it and move on. You know, that's not to write off everything they've done in the past, because Saints Row has been a decent game here and there. But I'm interested to see how and where they take the series, because from what I saw, it looked scaled back, but it didn't look like it was going for a completely different tone. It still seemed, have that wacky Saints Row feel. Yeah. Did you ever play these games, Sarah?
I didn't. I think even back then, the comedy kind of seemed a little bit grating. Mm-hmm. Like it was very much like, oh, look at this giant dildo. Look how crazy you can make your character look. Oh, now there's aliens. Yeah. Not
I think there was more to, like, I think the marketing definitely focused on that stuff, and that was the problem. When throughout the game, it was obviously it had that humour throughout it, but not as intense as, say, the marketing. It was literally that. I think wasn't there a problem where they sent a bunch of sex toys to a bunch of journalists in England and all that sort of stuff?
Oh, did they? Christ, I remember.
Yeah, the PR agencies and all that sort of shit. But let's see what happens. What I will say is, as I say, the games play well, and they had some interesting ideas. They went in directions where it wasn't just solely based around an open world city. Where do they go? I'm interested to see how they handle this.
Well, I guess where they go is making it 4-player co-op, whereas that wasn't the case before, was it? Was it just
we'll
single?
See how
you could do 2-player co-op, I think, couldn't you? In the other ones?
You could. You could. I'm. Let's see how integral that is. The 4-player stuff. Yeah. I mean, it'd be a shame if it was, because that's essentially Agents of Mayhem, isn't it? And that did go well.
It says it's designed around 4-player co-op, so.
Actually, wasn't Agents of Mayhem designed to be a 4-player co-op, but then at the last minute they pulled it and it became a single-player RPG thing?
I don't know.
I think that's what the problem was. So, we'll see. I don't know, man. We'll see.
So we also got the reveal of, I can't remember if this was rumoured or leaked or what, but there was definitely stuff going around about it. This is Firaxis, the people behind XCOM and a bunch of other like strategy games, are doing a Marvel game called Midnight Suns, and it is so it's a tactical RPG with superheroes.
This thing's been heavily rumoured or bits and leaks and stuff.
I'm quite up for this. I thought it looked decent. I thought it was quite nice that, although it's obviously you got a team of established superheroes, you create your main character still. I thought that was quite nice. Usually a big license like this, they do not let you do that shit. So, I mean, the trailer didn't give much away, but it's a Firaxis game, so I'm provisionally interested. There was a CGI trailer for Halo Infinite's multiplayer. I think I skipped this.
Yeah, like it's set in London, which I thought was weird.
Yeah,
really?
It felt like felt very London at the beginning, unless I'm just totally.
You do see Tower Bridge.
Big Ben. Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you hear Big Ben at the beginning, and so I was like, "What the hell is this?" But it was just it was a trailer for the first season of their multiplayer.
Right.
Content.
But it confirmed the release date, didn't it? Which I think had leaked by this point, so it's 8th of December. It's definitely out.
Yeah, 8th of December, and then they showed off that controller and the limited edition console, which looks amazing.
Oh, the console's amazing.
The console looks so bloody good. and I'm not really into limited edition consoles, but it looks really nice, I think.
But what if the game's shit, Matt?
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? That's
what if you end up like one of those people who got the Cyberpunk Xbox?
It's true. A constant reminder.
Well, I mean, I really liked the Xbox because it's not super obviously Halo.
Yeah.
It kind of has like the kind of brass golden lines and then some kind of like galaxy stars kind
the
of look
space
to
details
it.
are great.
Yeah, it's actually weirdly quite subtle. It looks really nice.
There's a controller as well, isn't there?
Well, I'm looking at it now. It looks like a vape mod. Isn't it?
Yeah, you love that shit.
You could screw your thing in your thing into the tank at the top of that and puff away. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. It hasn't got Master Chief's face right on the front of it. Yeah, I don't think I could get away with owning one of those things.
No,
but yeah, it looks alright. Don't look too bad.
Yeah, and there was like an Elite Series 2 controller, which is fully green and Halo-fied.
It looks better than that bloody Forza controller they're bringing out. You seen that?
I thought that looked very nice.
The Forza controller's amazing. They're going back to transparent plastic.
Oh, is it transparent? Holy shit.
Transparent plastic.
2002 again, mate. Fuck it.
Do you remember, I mean, we've spoken about it on the show before, but do you remember the original transparent Xbox?
Yeah.
And all it was is you could just see the yes, so did I. You could just see this metal case like about 3 millimeters away from the plastic.
No, because I had the transparent purple Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing was beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that controller. We okay, all right. I won't dwell on that.
I mean, what else? Oh, so we got a reveal of a new Devolver Digital game called Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, this looks so good.
It does. Looks really good, doesn't it? So it's basically like a roguelite, but also with sort of Animal Crossing style, like village building stuff. So you sort of going out doing your runs, and then as you come back, like, you know, things have progressed in the village, and then you sort of building stuff and what have you, and then that obviously affords you like new resources or abilities or whatever as you go back out into the field. Yeah, looked really cool, I thought.
They are some indie publisher, aren't they?
They sure are.
They bring out some really good stuff. It's always worth looking at what they've got on the horizon.
Who's doing that game? Because it looked quite Don't Starve like in style.
It did. I don't think it's Clay though. I would have remembered if it was. I think
they're an Australian developer.
Okay.
Can't remember the name of them.
Massive Monster.
Oh shit!
Massive Monster. Yeah.
Fuck. What did they make? They made something else good.
I'm just googling now.
Thank you.
The Adventure Pals.
Just googling now.
Oh, the Venture Pals. Yeah, that was really good. There you go.
Cool.
Filling holes in my brain left, right, and centre. This is great. Oh yeah. So there was also the reveal of Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. But it's
I mean, development hell. I think maybe I was too harsh on this when I saw this because I sent the trailer to you. Mm-hmm. And no one replied to me, so I'm assuming. Oh, you've not watched it? Okay.
No, sorry.
I looked at the gameplay bits they dropped in there and just went, "This looks a bit shit." But
really,
I'd be interested to hear other people's opinions because maybe I was just in a shitty mood when I watched it. Mm-hmm. But I thought the cutscenes, they're always good in those Lego games. Mm-hmm. But when it showed bits of gameplay, I was like, I'm not sure, man. So we'll see. But what a weird game that is. Like, in terms of following its development and stuff, I mean, I'd love to know what the process has been because it just seems to have been like sidelined for not a long time, and obviously that's not what's happened. It's just we haven't been shown what's going on with it. But this was supposed to come out in line with the. At one point, it was coming out in line with the Rise of Skywalker.
It says here it was announced at E3 2019, coming out late 2020 originally.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's not been delayed that much then.
Yeah, like 18 months delay in the end. Yeah. It looked good in the original trailer, and I'm excited to see what it's about. I've never played a Lego game, but
this
one looks alright.
Holy shit!
Well, this isn't apparently this isn't representative of a Lego game. It's a completely different style of game. Whereas the Lego games are they're very similar, aren't they? But yeah, no, this is meant to be different.
Okay.
So we'll see.
probably the biggest, weirdest breakout hit of the show was Doki V. Did everyone seen the trailer for this?
Yeah,
Yes.
this looks
sir.
amazing.
Oh my goodness, Dave! When we finish recording, you have to go give it a watch. It's fucking mental. It's
Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah, so this is by the people who make Black Desert Online, which is an MMO, and they've confirmed. I think they confirmed that this was at one point, but now isn't. Which I'm quite happy with that. It's basically, I'm going to try and summarize it. So it's like a 3D open world adventure game. It looks like it's set in Switzerland or something. It's like a coastal town with mountains and stuff in the background. It looks fucking gorgeous.
It looks like South Korea.
Oh, do you think? Okay.
Yeah, I think because
I thought I saw. Go on, sorry.
Because I'm pretty sure I think the developer might be Korean, but there was
I think you're right.
There was a load of K-pop in the trailer as well.
Yes,
and a lot of the fashion looks very K-poppy. So yes, I think it's meant to be South Korea.
Yeah, fair dues. And it's basically sorry, I've just remembered Switzerland's fucking landlocked as well. So it's definitely not a coastal town in Switzerland, is it, Sean? Don't write in. You don't have to write in. It's fine. I've saved you all the bother. And basically, so there's all just all these clips of all these characters running, jumping around, fucking skateboarding, flying around with umbrellas, and then also appearing to summon effectively Pokemon. So they're getting all monsters out and battling with them and stuff. And it just looks absolutely off its nut.
I just watched the trailer. I'm 100% in. This has my approval. This looks absolutely incredible. So yes, please. Even the bits where they're just in the playground playing, I'm like, I'm up for some.
Yeah, it's the visuals are so bright and vibrant and really realistic. And then you've got the anime characters, and it's really nice it's just a nice juxtaposition between the two, really. And it looks good. Gorgeous and bright and sunny over there. I want to go.
It's when you see a trailer for a game that does so many things and you sort of think, well, either half of this is getting cut or half of it's just not good. It's doing too many things possibly, right? Half the stuff is probably just not going to be great or not particularly or not as fleshed out as you would like. But I don't think I mind. Looks proper good.
Cool.
And that was. I don't think there was any major announcements beyond that. There's going to be a Jumanji video game that's based on the board
we
game.
don't need to cover everything.
Did any of you lot watch the new Forza Horizon gameplay video?
I have. I promised myself I wouldn't, but I did, and my word, Was that?
Was this in the Microsoft one? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They're a joke of a developer. They come along and they just go, "Yep, there you go," and you go, "Oh my god, this is amazing." And they go, "Yeah, we know. We'll see in a couple of years for more amazing shit." Okay, all right, okay, we'll do that then. And you're absolutely right. The thing that stuck out was, we've been playing Forza Horizon 4. We've been playing it a lot recently. Harry's got bang into it and stuff. So we've been playing a lot of that. But there is that. Oh yeah, no, this is set in the UK, isn't it? And it's all pretty similar. Whereas you looked at the various different, it was jungle, desert. I was okay, right, okay. So this bit's a snow bit. All right, okay. So Mexico has various different types of environments. Let's go there then. So yeah, I'm bang up for it, man. It's that is going to be some video game. Doesn't count according to James Farley. Doesn't count. I wonder if his opinion on that will change now that he's using his Xbox more. We'll find out in a future episode of TCGS. That looks good.
Yeah, the Microsoft one, I didn't watch it, but I gather there was nothing actually announced. It was just trailers for stuff coming up.
I think they announced. I think they did announce some smaller games or whatever. But I wasn't. Nothing stood out to me.
The only thing that had was the Halo announcement of the date, but
right, yeah,
that was it.
The only thing I remember from it is the trebuchet.
Oh, what was this?
Yeah, there was a lot of trebuchet.
So for them talking about Age of Empires 4, so I think Age of Empires 4 got a bit more of a showing in the main Gamescom one, but on the Xbox one the day before, they basically just did this blue. I think they were at Warwick Castle. They just had a presenter go to Warwick Castle, and they just did a Blue Peter style mini documentary on the trebuchet
Wow.
for like 5 minutes.
Amazing.
Well,
I'm
why
not
not?
joking.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to
Why
know more
not?
about
Yeah.
it.
I really like medieval history and siege weapons and all that stuff. So like, I really enjoyed that bit, and I think I turned the stream off not long after that because I was like,
It was linked to Age of Empires 4, wasn't it?
yes, yeah.
I mean, I'm saying that like I've just recalled that off the top of my head. Like I'm really intelligent, but I googled it. So yeah, I think that's what it is. Age of Empires has never been a series that I've been interested in. So yeah, whatever. But they should do that at E3. Watch how angry people really get. Just drop a documentary halfway through. That would be, look, we're using our time to educate you.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Good marketing.
I don't know if this was at the conference or not, but they have announced that, so all your Xbox consoles are going to get cloud gaming this Christmas, which obviously it's weird how useful this may or may not be for different people, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, is Flight Sim available on cloud? Whatever they're calling it.
As
Xbox
far
Cloud?
as I'm aware, yes.
If
If
it's
it
if it's
is-
not now, it will be.
Okay.
That is mad to
Actually-
know that you could have an OG Xbox One
Yeah.
and then just play Microsoft Flight Simulator on it.
Yeah.
Because to get the most out of that game anyway, you're going to need a decent internet connection.
Hmm.
So if you've got a decent internet connection and you've got that thing,
That's true,
you
yeah.
just
'cause
load
that's,
in it and play it for it.
yeah, because that's
mad.
one of those games, because obviously, talking about cloud gaming, there's obviously the argument of like, what happens if your internet goes? It's like, well, it's a game that basically needs the internet anyway.
Yeah,
It's
God, have you tried it
hard
when
to get
the
upset.
internet's down?
No, is
It's
it bad?
really funny. Yeah, oh God, the warning signs. It's like, no, it's fucking don't. Just fucking don't. It's like getting internet. All right, okay, mate.
Because I thought it only streamed like the weather and stuff, but that's not the case, is it?
No, it streams the map data as well.
Yeah.
So God knows.
So
what happens
why is
if
it
I
100 gig then?
Just for the planes and the it's got the planes in it and
The eye hospital.
You know,
Don't
there's a
forget.
lot of buttons, Sean.
There is a lot of buttons.
You've been in a cockpit.
It is
a lot of buttons.
actually the soundtrack on the those flights you can do is actually
What
very
they call
nice.
it?
They're actually all in WAV format. So
Lossless, yeah.
Yeah, not flackless. What a div. All right, okay, let's go. Let's move on.
I actually played most of 12 minutes using cloud gaming. Just
and what
on
a
my phone
great
downstairs.
experience that was.
Yeah, well, it was just I thought, I'm not going to be using this at all because why would I've got a TV and an Xbox upstairs? But actually, I was like, I'll just play it on my phone down here, just easier.
Yeah.
And so maybe it is going to be more useful than I thought.
I've played a fair bit of the Ascent with it on the iPad. So that's been really nice. Yeah.
Okay.
So the next news story is that the Overwatch team have announced that the character McCree is going to get renamed because he's named after Jesse McCree, who's one of the, I can't remember if it's just a senior member of staff or a manager, but basically he's one of the ones named in the abuse lawsuit.
Right.
And they've obviously, so, I won't read the entire statement, but it sort of starts with, we built the Overwatch universe around the idea that inclusivity, equity, and hope are the building blocks of a better future. They're central to the game and to the Overwatch team. As we continue to discuss how we best live up to our values and demonstrate our commitment to creating a game world that reflects them, we believe it's necessary to change the name of the hero currently known as McCree to something that better represents what Overwatch stands for. Which I think is fair enough. Well, because it's just a weird thing to have in the game, isn't it? Like a reference.
Wait, hold on. So McCree, from the news story, let's be clear.
Yep.
McCree was who?
Jesse McCree. Was someone who worked at Activision Blizzard and has been named as one of the abusers in...
Right, okay, yeah. Then absolutely change it. Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood the story there. Yeah,
Okay,
of course. Yeah, of course you do that, yeah.
It's like, and they sort of basically go on to explain that there's gonna be like an in-universe reason for it. So there's sort of... yeah.
Just say the reason for it is because this person explained that.
I I think I'm unusual in that when something like this happens, my stance is basically like the in-universe reason is it's all made up. You can call them whatever you want. I personally don't need a story justification for it being changed, but I understand this, this is a world and characters that are really dear to people, so I get that they're trying to be sensitive about it.
Yeah, I guess that, but also use it as a reason to explain the situation of things that went down.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that's interesting is
the game,
so when they tweeted this out, like overwhelmingly the replies. I mean, and it's bad that people don't know about this stuff, but yeah, so many of the replies are just like, "Why? What's happened?"
Right? Yeah, but you get that. Yeah. Like that's in our. The media we read, there's people that play Overwatch that don't give a shit about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's just interesting that obviously for every one of those, there's people responding, going, "Mate, read this. Come on." Like, so it is in a sense, it is educating people. But yeah, and as you say, I do think it's the right move.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's just because I remember when. Oh, go on, sorry, Sarah.
I was going to say it's not just that it's not just that the character's name is kind of slightly based off of this person. It's the exact same name. Like the developer's name is Jesse McCree. The character's name is Jesse McCree. And he in terms of what happened in the lawsuit, it was some of the more kind of obvious like bad stuff without kind of delving into the details too much right now. So like like they absolutely need to change it.
He was one of the ones photographed in the Cosby room, wasn't he, and stuff?
Yes.
So he's
and he was kind of. There's quite a few like screenshots from like a group chat that it is very obviously him. And I think in terms of like justifying it within the story, as you said, like there's obviously a lot of people in the Overwatch community who aren't online and who don't interact with games outside of just playing them. So for one of the main characters to suddenly just have like a completely different name is going to be a bit weird. I kind of hope that they don't do a massive story thing out of it.
Yeah.
I kind of hope. I don't know if either of you have ever watched Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
So there's that season where after the end of one season and the beginning of the next was when Chris Pratt went off to do Guardians of the Galaxy and he got really, really, really buff and lost a load of weight. So obviously he goes from being kind of tubby in one season and then the next season starts and he's lost a ton of weight. So in the episode, I think Ben Wyatt's just like, "Oh, Andy, like I've not seen you in ages. Like you've lost loads of weight." And Andy Dwyer just replies going, "Yeah, I just stopped drinking beer," and that was it. And I kind of want them to do something similar. Where someone's like, "Oh, you've got a new name. Cool, okay, whatever." And then that's it. Like, don't make it into this huge, big redemption arc story or anything like that. Just do it, have a reason for it, move on.
Yeah, totally.
Is that absolutely the right thing? Absolutely the right thing for them to do.
Yeah, 100%. And especially because, like, as they say, like I'd always, picked up on this vibe that Overwatch felt really inclusive, more than like a lot of other like shooters in particular. So it's like when all the Activision Blizzard stuff came out, like it seemed like especially odd to me that a game like that could have come from people who were behaving like that. Do you know what I mean? Which I know is silly, but like because because ultimately that positive stuff comes from the many other positive people who are working on that game, not necessarily the arseholes. But
there's also so many characters and like NPCs in Blizzard games that are named after staff, some of which
is this like a long running sort of tradition then, is it?
Yeah, so there's again one of the real bad names. Alex Afrosabi, I think his name's pronounced. He's another one of the big names from this lawsuit. He has an NPC in World of Warcraft. I think he's based somewhere in Stormwind. And he's had to be removed from the game. Actually, there were so many players going to his character in game and using the /spit command, like emote.
Wow.
That they also took that out. They disabled that from the game briefly. And so it's something that they're doing across pretty much all of their games, is kind of looking for. There's also, I think, in World of Warcraft as well, just because the game's been going so long, there's some less than sensitive, like, flavor text and quests and things like that. So they're kind of looking at all of their content and kind of being like, oh, okay, some of this hasn't aged particularly well. I don't know how they're going to do that with some of the stuff, and then also not touch the entire troll race in World of Warcraft, which has really not aged well at all. But yeah, it's something that they're doing across like all of their games, basically.
Yeah, and the statement does mention that they will no longer be naming any characters after any members of staff, which is sad, because obviously you would.
Yeah,
you want there to be like a great cleansing, and then like, right, that's it. Like, you know, the idea that you now, like, if they're going to go through this process of hopefully getting rid of a lot of people, like, to then be like, oh, and we're also not going to name any characters after anyone going forward. It's like there's this, you know, this sort of implied assumption.
Just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well, actually, you know, be on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated. I mean, the cynic here would say, well, if they change the name, there'll be less people Googling that name and Overwatch and finding stories. But I don't know if that's the case. I think, you know, people, as you say, Sarah, if they do some throwaway line to the name change, then people are more likely to go and hunt and find out why, and then find out why. So let's see how they handle it. But I think they had to change the name regardless. You know?
Yeah, totally. Last one. So the day this comes out, on the 1st of September, there's been a campaign to have hashtag a day off Twitch in response to the increase in hate raids that have been going on lately. I mean, these aren't a new thing, but I gather the frequency of them has been increasing, and it's been, you know, happening to more and more like high profile streamers as well. So basically people just using armies of bots, just invading the chat and just posting like literally hundreds of slurs. It's just like like the tools that Twitch provides are just not suitable. Like, I mean, the fact they're not blocking this stuff in the first place is pretty shoddy. And yeah, you know, creators and streamers are not given effective tools to deal with this stuff. I believe, I mean, Sarah, Matt, you might know better. I believe tools are available to sort of prevent this stuff, but it's like you have to go out of your way to implement them yourself, and it's a nightmare, basically. So basically, there's this organised boycott. So basically, everyone taking part is neither streaming nor viewing anything on Wednesday, the 1st of September. Just thought it was worth signal boosting, really, if nothing else. Like, I mean, obviously, you know, there are going to be streamers that have like contractual obligations or whatever. But yeah, broadly speaking, it costs me nothing to not watch Twitch for the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is incredibly sad. And like they're saying, that they originally Twitch put out some tweets saying, "Hey, we're going to fix this. We're going to do this, that, and the other." And that was on the 11th of August. Nothing's really been done so far, and obviously, people big and small were getting hate raided. And then I saw other things people were saying today, saying channels should set their chat to emote only, because also people are getting like hate raided even when someone isn't online, and they'll put loads horrible stuff in your chat, take screenshots and report to the channel, because apparently the chat on your channel was your responsibility, and it's getting people banned.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they're like, look, all this horrendous stuff is happening on the channel. That's censored. No, someone from Twitch, no doubt. And so now a recommendation at the moment, at least, is to set your chat to emote only when you're away, and then that's one way to try and combat it anyway. But no, the whole thing is an absolute mess, and then we need some actual the actual changes from Twitch, not just in saying that they're looking at it and they're all about creator safety and whatnot. Things seem to happen very, very quickly.
They're a strange organisation, aren't they? Sorry, Sarah, go on.
Because it's also kind of worth noting as well that like these hate raids are disproportionately affecting female streamers and streamers of colour. And then, those people who are right in the middle of that Venn diagram and female streamers of colour, like, those are the people that these hate raiders are, very much, like, disproportionately going after. There are ways you can protect yourself. I've seen some people have set up things on, like, Stream Deck, so they hit one button on Stream Deck, and then it runs through, like, a whole host of actions. So it's things like putting your chat in slow mode, setting it to followers only, but people who have followed you for like a couple of weeks. There's ways that streamers can protect themselves, but it's not just like changing one or two settings. It's a whole big host of things that you need to set up. And no one should have to go to that level and put in that much effort to protect themselves from something that is this horrific.
Yeah.
Like, how responsive have Twitch been to all this stuff? Have
Not
they
at
put out
all.
statements? Have they? Wait, so what the fuck? Like, why not?
So they put out tweets on the 11th of August saying that they're looking at it, they're trying to do what they can, but then nothing really since then.
We should do better. We will do better. But then they just haven't done anything. Yeah, basically.
Do better then. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
There's there's a good discussion about this on the recent GamesIndustry.biz podcast, and Brendan Sinclair wrote an article about Twitch. I mean, it's going back, I can't remember, it's like 6 to 12 months, something like that. Basically, talked to a bunch of people at Twitch and got a sense of the culture there and stuff. And it's like, broadly speaking, it just seems to be a company that is just like afraid of upsetting anyone, and like to the point that it's just like, I don't know, just completely paralysed by.
Guess what? The world's fucking divided at the moment, like really fucking divided. And sometimes you're always going to upset someone, so just fucking do it. Do the right thing. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many times have we been through these like things with Twitch, even down to banning people with music over the top, all that sort of stuff. Obviously not on the same level of moral issues, right? But they just seem so slow and to make the wrong decisions constantly. It's so weird. They need to sort themselves out.
Like, they've got such a monopoly on streaming in general that it's like, as you say, they just keep getting everything wrong, seemingly, and just and broadly just getting away with it. I mean, hopefully,
just come out and say, "Oh yeah, hate speech in our channels is not good, is it? We're going to sort that out." And then fucking sort it out.
Well, I know
it's easy for me to say that's not involved in any of this shit, but at the same time, fucking hell, sort it out.
I think that's what's frustrating so many of these streamers and leading this movement to happen, because if Twitch came out and said, back on August 11th, if they were like, we're listening, we're going to do better, putting things in place to kind of stop this sort of thing probably isn't an easy task.
No,
but it's the complete radio silence from them. If they came out and then said, these are some of the steps that we're wanting to do, or these are some of the things that we're investigating, it's going to take us time, but we're going to keep you updated as to what we are doing, what we think will work, what might not work, what's been investigated, blah, 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 blah. Then 100%. I think people wouldn't be doing this walkout tomorrow. But it's the fact that they've said, oh yeah, no, we should do better, and then just haven't said anything. That's what's frustrating.
Say you're working with a bunch of streamers. You know what I mean? To discuss options and what you can and cannot do. If there are these plugins to help your channel avoid this sort of stuff, right? Look into those plugins as just a default setting on your fucking platform.
Yeah,
it's so weird, man.
I think because
this
I
fucking
think as well
blows my mind.
I think as well they also I mean I'd hope that they are, but like it's all well and good, I think, providing streamers with the tools to protect themselves quickly and easily, and building those sort of third-party tools into Twitch itself so that these streamers can protect themselves. But then they also, the onus shouldn't be on the streamers to do all these things to protect themselves. Twitch also needs to be looking at stopping these things happening in the first place.
Yeah.
All I'll say is that anyone taking part in this, especially if you're a Twitch streamer that relies on your income on that platform, then good luck to you. I hope you get the results that you want, because fully behind you.
Absolutely,
100%. That's it for the news.
Okay, let's do what we've been playing this week, and we should probably start with the biggest release of the week, right? I would argue that was Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. Oh, sorry, so you've not played this yet, have you?
No.
Have you got any interest?
I saw a little bit. My boyfriend's been playing it, so he showed me a little bit of it. I think it looks great. It's not. I probably won't play it. As much as I love Tim Schafer, as much as I love the look of it and everything about it, I can't do 3D platformers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unless it's Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay,
I've tried a whole bunch over the years. Tried the first Psychonauts. Yeah. So
You've played the best one, so that's fine.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, complete that 25 times, and you'll
famously.
See the real. You'll see the real how good that is.
How much time have we all put into Psychonauts 2 then?
Not enough, man.
Okay.
It kills me. So I downloaded it the day it was available, and I played it in the morning. I played it that evening, and then I went away for like 4 or 5 days. I think it's been 5 days, and so I've barely played it, and I'm absolutely I've not barely played it. So how can I do? I've done the casino bit.
Yep.
And the hub world has opened up.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Cool.
Right?
Okay.
That's okay to say. Matt, how far into it are you?
I may just got into the mother load, and I've done the
mother lobe.
From mother lobe. So I've done the first area. I've got done the first area of that, and then
So I'm a little bit further than you, Sean. You must be much further. Right?
I have finished it.
Oh, there he goes. How long did it take you? I love that when that happens on this show.
I actually don't know. I've not. I mean, it can't be that long, because so basically the main thing is that Isaac has really enjoyed watching me play it, which obviously gives me so much more time to spend on it.
Yeah.
But obviously, even then, it's not even been a full week, so it can't have been more than 15, 20 hours. But then, I mean, that's before you get into going back and 100% in everything, which I might actually do. But yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't entirely down to Isaac. I fucking adored it.
I'm loving it too.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so my initial reaction to it, I mean, I never played the original Psychonauts game, so I can't give you any sort of lineage to what they've done and how they've changed things or anything. It feels incredibly old school, incredibly old school in so many ways, It is a 3D platformer. It is a game where you will be jumping over things. At one point, Harry was watching me play it and just went, "What? So you just have to climb all the way back up again?" When I fell down, and I was like, "Yep, that's what we do. That's what we do now." You don't know you're born, boy. And so there are some minor frustrations from that era of 3D platforming, but it never really feels. If it's a 3D platformer from that era, it's a fucking good one. It never takes the piss with that stuff. Some of the checkpointing is a bit off here and there, especially when it comes to I've only played one boss, but that first boss fight, I was kind of like, you didn't need to put me at the start of this again, because I came to it with very little health. But I mean, the first thing that blew me away, Sean, is how good it looks. And that was a surprise, a massive surprise to me, because I'd seen screenshots of this just as Ratchet and Clank was doing the rounds, and you were going, my God, this looks absolutely shocking compared to Ratchet and Clank. And I mean, in some ways it certainly does, but in some ways it does something, and I can't put my finger on what it does to make it look so good.
It's just it's got a style about it, hasn't it? Which, as you say,
it has, the style's not instinctively pretty, is it? It's it like the character models are weird. The settings themselves are not. Well, they're impressive, but they're also very video gamey. If you it's such a shit thing to say, but specific objects and it is very limited in places. Yet there's this shine on it. I think it must be doing something crazy with the lighting.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the lighting. Like even if you look at what was it, the main character? Was it Raz? No,
Raz. Yeah,
who the main.
Yeah, Rasmussen.
You look like his.
Trying to remember his name. It's the same name as Rasputin. That's it. I called him Rasmutin then.
His face and kind of general look. At some points, it looks quite basic, like his face texture. But then you see all the detail in his leather hat and his goggles, and then that kind of goes throughout levels as well. Some bits look quite basic in terms of lighting, and then you get areas where it's like gorgeous reflections all round, or you see like the fluffy kind of hat or like jacket of another character you meet. It's like those little touches really elevate it, I think, because on first glance I'm like, this is quite basic, but actually there's loads of really lovely detail.
There's a lot.
I can't believe how good it looks.
A lot of characters could just if you took a freeze frame of it, could just be just beautiful 2D illustrations at times.
That's the thing. I think that's very much like what I've got from. Okay, I've only seen a little bit of it, but so Ratchet and Clank is kind of like your Pixar, your DreamWorks, the very shiny, pretty 3D CGI animation, and then Psychonauts is kind of like your stop motion. Sort of
or like
thing.
Mitchell's versus the Machines, where it's really stylized but somehow comes together.
Yeah, and it just feels a lot more kind of handmade.
Yeah.
So it's like
totally,
objectively speaking, it might not be as crisp and as shiny and as technically good, but I think artistically it's got so much more going for it.
Yeah. And there's because there isn't a single normal looking person in it.
No.
And yet, they're some of the best characters you'll ever meet in a video game in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and that's helped by the voice acting as well, which is incredible throughout. It's so spot on throughout.
Yeah.
It looks great, but ultimately it feels like I've played about probably an hour and a half to 2 hours of it, and I feel that I am doing new stuff constantly.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's to its detriment, because there's so many upgrade systems in it that right now in the space that I'm in, I'm like, I don't even know what I should be doing at this point. So there's I'll ask you this, Sean. There's a system a little bit further in, it's still quite early on in the game, where you get to a vendor, but you're not just buying upgrades, you're also buying cards and combining them with certain elements. So I was looking at that and just going, I've not followed any
I saw
of
that.
this.
It's like you can either combine, you can buy pins. I was like, but then if you collect 9 cards and buy another thing, you then upgrade something else.
So pins are modifiers for your existing skills. Sometimes they're enhancements.
When you say skills, what do you mean?
So you're telekinesis, or setting fire stuff, whatever.
The others,
the rest. There are too many. You'll get into that in a minute, but and then so the ranking up. So you rank up, which gives you points that you can also put into those same skills, and that just enhances them in different ways. But it's very weird because you're picking up cards as you go around the world, but then to rank up you need 9 cards and a core, a psi core, and you can buy the cores, but you can't buy the cards. But you can also find the cores as well as the cards. So basically, you might find you have a surplus of cards, and for every 9 you've collected, you can just buy a core, and then that gives you an extra rank. So that is simple. So there are too many. Well, there's not too many powers. It's just for the interface. So you've basically you end up with a total. I think there's like 9 powers you end up with. And you can bind them to your triggers and your shoulder buttons, of which there are only 4. And there's no real way of knowing what you're going to be asked to do next. So, like there are like a couple of abilities that are just sort of pretty essential, like traversal abilities, and then the rest, like it's just a total grab bag. Every new environment you're in, it's like, oh, and now I need to set fire to something. Oh, and now I need to use my Clairvoyance ability, and now, or whatever. And it's constantly changing that up. So I basically ended up with a setup where I was just like, so I had levitate on the left trigger, left bumper was the mental connection one, so that's like dashing between like set points. Right bumper was the telekinetic blast, just because I found that really useful for combat, and then the right trigger was just whatever I needed. Whatever had come up most recently.
That's exactly my setup.
Oh, really?
That's really weird.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah,
and it's
bizarre,
like it's not the worst thing in the world. Like you literally just hit up on the D-pads, and then it's just radial menu, select the thing, press the right trigger, let go, done. But it's just a bit because it's not even like, oh, in one given area, it's like, okay, so here, broadly speaking, I'm setting fire to stuff. Or whatever. Like there's not enough consistency to be like, okay, these are the abilities this is the abilities I'm probably going to need for this area, and I can just kind of stick with those. So it's although it's amazing that it's constantly changing things up, that does clash with the controls a bit. So as a big fan of the first game, but I will totally admit the first game was flawed. It wasn't a particularly sharp platformer, and there's quite a lot of combat in it as well that could be quite frustrating. They have improved both of those things, but they've also, the challenge has been dialed right down. First game had some really famous choke points everyone hated, whereas this is all pretty, I'm not going to say easy, but it's definitely lighter than it used to be. But then it's so relentlessly imaginative, there's not really a problem.
You're constantly doing new things, aren't you?
Yeah, or even if it's the same things, it's disguised in such a way because each environment is so different. I should explain if anyone never played the first game, doesn't know anything about it. So basically, you play as a kid who's been inducted into the Psychonauts, so this sort of spy organization who have psychic powers, and basically the broad idea is you can go into people's brains and help them with their problems, and usually in turn, that allows them to help you with something. And so what I was really interested in, with this sequel being 16 years on, is that obviously the conversation around mental health has developed a lot in that time. And I was kind of thinking actually thinking back to the first game, not that I can remember anything particularly problematic about it, but fundamentally the idea of just being oh, this person's mentally ill, I'll just jump in their brain and punch some baddies and that'll fix them. Not sure if that really works. I mean, and it wasn't that simple in the first game. It was more clever than that. But just fundamentally the idea of just being oh well, I'll just jump in this person's head and sort them out for them. That's potentially really unethical in a lot of ways. And I was wondering if or how this game would address that, and it totally does. It makes a really useful distinction between. So early on, I know Dave, you've seen this. There's a bit where you basically sort of rewire someone's brain, and with sort of near disastrous consequences. And it makes the point afterwards. It's you are not going into people's heads to fix them. You're going in to assist with what they tell you they need, right? And from then it's yes, you are appearing in other people's brains as as an ally to them, and what it is they appear to need, right, or what they're asking for. And I think that's a really healthy distinction for the game to make versus the first game.
I do worry, and this is only from the one sort of real like real world issue that it addresses. I do worry that it oversimplifies things a little bit. So the example I give, and again, it's early on, and I don't want to spoil anything, but you go into a brain, and there's clearly some gambling addiction problems.
Yeah.
And the way it addresses that is. It's a bit strange. I don't know if I was on board with it, to be quite honest with you, because it's like, obviously, gambling addiction's a terrible thing. And connecting win with risk or whatever, because there's segments in the game where you
money
get
was the
risk with money. You where thought bubbles and emotions and ideas pop up within the levels, and you have to connect them in certain ways to sort of rewire the thinking. And in this particular part of the game, you're dealing with gambling addiction, and it's risk with. Was it money with win or something? And then you had to change it to money with risk or whatever. And it was like, and then there was a sound effect going, yes, gambling can be fun, but when I stop having fun, I should know when to stop. And I was like, that's fine. That message has been about, but gambling addiction is still very much a thing. So, I mean, that sort of made me go, I mean, addressing these subjects is fine, but if you're going to simplify it down to a point where it's meaningless, what have you done? What have you achieved?
I suppose, because I mean, because in that example, like I say, so you're the one that rewires her to essentially develop the addiction, aren't you? So it's. I suppose you could argue that it's.
I don't think that's explicitly stated, right? That she might have had a gambling addiction and you were discovering it.
I suppose, but it comes about as a result of you doing the rewiring, I guess. But does
I don't know if it actually says that.
Yeah,
I think
but as you say, it's either way. If it's oversimplifying the problem, then that's not especially helpful. I think just throughout the game, what really impressed me was how it's a funny game. It's a very funny game. And
it is.
And to make a game about, mental illness or just emotional problems or trauma or whatever, and to make it funny without the mental illness or the trauma or whatever ever being the butt of the joke, I think is really beautifully done here.
You're absolutely right with that.
Those two things are split.
It's funny because I've never actually got into a Tim Schafer game, and it's not. That's actually down to me not playing many of them. I've never disliked Tim Schafer at all. Every time he's been on a E3 conference or whatever video, he always seems like an interesting person and comes up with some funny lines here and there. Yeah, I mean that's all I've heard, so that's good. It's not a diss, but you can totally see. I think people should be aware of this going into it. If you're thinking that this is a 3D platformer, solely a 3D platformer, I think there are certain things that will take you by surprise. And the first thing would be the length of the cutscenes.
Yeah,
the cutscenes are lengthy, and I think that does stem from the point-and-click roots. It certainly feels like a point-and-click game in terms of story progression. It leaves a lot in the distance that you feel that you've got to get through to get to any sort of resolution of a plot line or a storyline through this. The initial setup is that you're an intern for the Psychonauts, and you're getting picked on by all the other interns there that have been there slightly longer. And usually in a platform game or whatever, that gets resolved really quickly, and then you move on. Whereas it's been lingering a long time in this game, and for me, that really reminds me of point-and-click adventures that would sort of linger storylines for as long as possible, because that's what they go for. The pacing is completely different, and I really appreciated that. But I think some people going into it will go, just get on with the platforming, So be aware that this is very much a narrative-driven game as well as it is a platformer, I think. There's a lot of story in there.
It's an interesting thing. Sarah might know more about this than I do, but watching the Double Fine adventure documentary which I would recommend to everyone. I mean, the whole thing's about like fucking 30 hours long or whatever, but it's really good. But it's, although obviously, you know, Tim Schafer's like the head of the studio and he obviously knows plenty about games, but he appears to see himself primarily as a writer. Like that seems to be what takes up most of his day, as far as I could tell. And it's, as you say, David, I think that's where it comes through in like, yeah, there is a lot of dialogue in this. But it's funny and it's good.
It is good. And it is good. I've laughed a lot already.
Yeah. And it's just it's a great story. All in all. So it's one of those, I'd like, if I try and talk about anything later on, I'll just be dancing around spoilers. So I won't, but I was fully in love with this. I was so pleased with it. Just as I say, the fact that it evolves like the game, but then it also evolves the themes as well, and the way that they're handled compared to the first game. I think it's just done really beautifully, and you know, empathically, and it's just and like as you say, it looks amazing. It's another Peter McConnell score. Who I checked.
The soundtrack is, again, you can feel the inspirations, but not only from point and click adventures,
mm-hmm.
but which might be a lazy sort of thing to say, but you also feel that sort of Saturday morning cartoon vibe to everything, and I think as you say, like Harry's been sitting there locked to it while I've been playing it and asking questions and been interested in the characters and stuff. It's it really captures that vibe. You know, that whole the sort of like when you're just walking down a hallway or whatever, it's like you've absolutely nailed that feeling of a Saturday morning cartoon perfectly, really. And then the split screen stuff it does, which really blew me away. So there's a section where you're grinding on rails and stuff, and then all of a sudden there's people talking to you, and it comes up in split screen and moves everything about and that, and I just thought that looks brilliant, and it does it flawlessly. Everything runs at a solid, I'm assuming 60 frames, but as we've noted in the past, I'm not the best at judging that. But it certainly feels as smooth as it can be. I'm from the little I've played of it, and I'm so eager to play more. I played a bit before we started recording, and I was like, oh my god, I've got to hammer through this because it's just been a joy so far.
It just keeps getting better. There's a whole section of the game that I won't spoil it, but I was just absolutely blown away by it, and the way it comes about, like almost just feels like an accident. Like it's not. It's part of the main story, but it's just the way it sort of builds up to it, and you kind of like, oh yeah, I guess I'll crack on with this, like, you know, side quest. And it's like it's not at all, and it's so fucking good. I've had a lot of people asking me, you don't need to have played the first, I don't think. And as
it sums it up in about 3 seconds.
Exactly,
at the start of the game, doesn't it?
I really appreciate that. As someone who didn't play the first, didn't play the VR one, I really appreciate that kind of opening.
Yeah, actually, because I never played the VR one either, so I should probably sort that out. I mean, I never heard anyone like raving about it, so maybe it wasn't that great, but I mean, there's quite a few names to pick up, but I mean, beyond that, you get the gist of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's the only issue I've had.
Yeah,
with the names, like how it just assumes that you know everyone.
Yeah, and because there are because there are families involved as well, so there's a lot of Zanottos, right? There's a lot of people with the surname Zanotto, and you might be like, hang on a minute, this is Bob Zanotto, so who's true? Are they the same?
Yeah. I had the problem when it was like, go meet Lily in her office.
Yeah.
What? Who's Lily and what? Has she got an office? So I've had that issue.
And like little thing, like, so you have this clairvoyance power. Have you used that on many people yet, Dave?
On pretty much everyone I've seen.
Yeah, because so basically clairvoyance allows you to see the world through someone else's eyes. And basically for almost every like animal or person in the game you can do this to. So they won't see you as you see yourself. They will see you as they see you.
Oh yeah, the first animal you can do that to, like the rat. That made me laugh out loud straight away. Like what the rat sees you as.
Yeah, And yeah, basically, and it's just like it's always just like a 2D sprite that sort of hops around, but it's almost always just like a little joke, or like, and some of them are quite touching, and just it's fucking so good.
Some of it are actually really brutal as well.
Yes.
The guy talking to the woman in the office, and like when you go into his eyes, it's all love hearts everywhere, and you go into her eyes, and she's like thinking about bacon or something. It's that stuff is I'm really surprised by this. I wasn't too sure on it. I wasn't too sure on how it would look. I wasn't too sure on how it would play. And it's just come out on Game Pass like this.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can play it on PlayStation as well. It's available.
Is it
on
on
PS4,
both? I wasn't.
isn't it?
PS4,
because it was
PS4. Yeah,
I was going to say it was kickstarted. It wasn't. It was on Fig, their own crowdfunding platform. Like
that's right.
Years and years and years ago. So yeah, been in development for a long time. But you can tell, like, in a nice way. You know, like it's so often when something like takes this long to make, and you start thinking, it's probably fucked. Then it's not. One of the best games I've played this year. Easy.
I think they said on the Nextlander podcast that Tim Schafer has said that they were basically just about to start having to cut content to get this thing out just before the Microsoft acquisition. And that Microsoft acquisition enabled them to not cut content and to deliver it in the way we play it today.
Yeah.
So it felt like that acquisition came at exactly the right time before they had to start, not quite delivering on the vision they might have had.
Yeah,
given how long it's been taken to come out.
Yeah.
It's also a game that I just know that James is going to love.
Yeah, man.
I love games like that. I'm like, this is right up to it. There's loads of things to collect. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's going to love this game.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's way too much to collect, I think. Maybe.
There is a lot of it, as I say. I think Isaac's going to make me 100% it, because he's asking me to put it on again, even though we finished it. Like, he was like, bless him, he was like saying he was really sad when it was over. So yeah, I was like, all right, we'll put it back on the Gravel
and it was like, oh, there are these little images things that you got to pick up. Okay, that's cool. Oh, and now the purple stuff. What does that? I don't know what that does, but apparently I've got maxed out on it. But fine. And the cards. Oh, and then there's tags, and now I've got to find the bags for the tags. I was like, oh my god, there's so much.
Have you seen? So it does
it.
Make that stuff easy to go back to. Have you seen the Collective Unconscious yet?
Yes. But I haven't been in there yet. If I haven't been into one of
basically, so that means you can go back to a previous level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so good, if you, because there are a couple of bits, especially early on, where like you can see something's like just out of reach or it's hidden or whatever, and you're like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to get that? You can go back later.
In the first area with the one of the earlier areas where you got a bit of a platforming section, I also saw is like white orbs. I'm like, how do I get them? What are they?
Yeah, but you'll get to that. Don't worry. Yeah. But that's something different.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I'm really glad I played it again. Having not played the previous, having not known about it, I didn't even know what type of game it was before it came out. I just hadn't really paid any attention to it. But it's just a really lovely, pleasant world to be in, and I'm excited to see and play more. I haven't had any issues. I mean, I'm only obviously early doors, but I've heard some people comment, Sean, saying that they don't think the actual platforming is incredible. The way it feels. Did you find it frustrating at any point, or
I didn't? But as I say, I think that's more as a result of them dialing the challenge down quite a bit, rather than the platforming actually being better. There was
for sure.
There was one of the bosses that like I loved the design of it and the idea of it. But it, just like died a couple of times and was just like, this is getting a bit annoying now. So to be fair, I mean, the accessibility options are amazing. You can turn invincibility on whenever you want. You can turn on, I think they just call it like narrative combat mode, which is basically you just deal a ton of damage and people barely hurt you. So it still feels like you're playing it properly, but you're not. I mean, who cares? I turned that on like quite a few times, because it gets to the point where it's just like I'm just categorically having less fun, and this is not a game about proving myself. It's not like you're not going to finish a boss fight and be like, oh my god, that was fucking exhilarating. It's all about the context of them and the design. I mean,
that first boss fight was more cutscene than fighting.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Exactly.
But, Yes,
It's
highly
not-
recommended. I can't wait to play more of it for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what you all think when you finished. It's very
I
good.
can't wait to hear what James thinks of it.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, what have you been playing this week?
So I've been playing a little bit of Death's Door.
What a game!
Only a little bit this week because I absolutely put so much time into it, like the 2 weeks prior. Basically, I am up to Betty.
Oh yeah.
Haven't taken her out yet, but I have spent a lot of time collecting loads of the extra stuff, doing the shrines, doing all that. Obviously, you guys have spoken about it so much, so I won't retread a lot.
No, but you are so close that you've got to plough through now.
Yeah,
like
but
you're
that's-
so close to the end.
But that's the thing, though. I'm only close to like the like first ending from what I've heard, because I know obviously that it ends and then there's all the extra stuff, and like I absolutely want to go and do all the extra stuff. It's wonderful,
but
it's so good.
I mean, the extra stuff, so you don't have to do everything to get the final ending. So
I want to do it anyway.
I was there. I was there.
The moment a game puts like a percentage completion on it, I'm like, right, well now I want to do it 100%, especially a game that's just as good to play as Death's Door is. Like,
I would say, I don't know about you, Sean, but I would say like seeing that second ending, you got to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
the boss fight that's in that area as well is so brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not in terms of what I like about it is that most games would say, here's the one ending. If you want to see the extra ending, here's all this extra stuff. But it's way harder. Like, it's going to continue to get harder. This game does not do that at all.
No.
The hardest thing you do in this game is just before the first ending. And then it's like, well, everything afterwards is, and some
just
people
a
would
bit of a
argue that
victory lap,
Betty's
isn't it?
harder.
Yeah, I'd say Betty's probably harder. But yeah, it's just a bit of a victory lap, and it's just an excuse to sort of properly say goodbye to the world.
100%. Yeah, that's totally what it's about.
I need to go back and do that, really.
I love that. Because that's what I hated about the Spider-Man DLC. When I was doing that earlier in the year, it was like, you've just made it harder. Like, that's all you've done. And that's not who cares? And it was the same. Breath of the Wild did the same thing. It was like the first DLC pack was like, now challenge mode comes in. No one plays this game for the challenge of the combat. Like, no one does. Why have you focused on that? It's such a weird angle to take. But yeah, no, thankfully Death's Door just completely ignores that.
Yep.
And it's fantastic.
And I will
Good.
say, like, so even though I wasn't going out on my way to find secrets and stuff during my main playthrough, so once I'd done the final boss, like the extra stuff that it took to get the final ending, I did in like a morning. Like, I just like, it was like only another sort of 3-4 hours at most.
It's like 12 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But you know what I mean? It wasn't like, it didn't feel like a slog, like ticking everything off or anything at all.
That's the thing I've very much noticed with it is like, it's so much fun going and because your first pass through a zone, you'll see all the other things that you can't get to yet. So then the second you get the item, you suddenly remember all those other bits when you're like, oh, that's how I get there. And then I just found myself just wanting to go back to all those areas and do the things that I couldn't do prior.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just so good. So good.
Very good game.
Very
good game.
But then on Tuesday we got the new Destiny 2 season as part of all the big Bungie showcase thing, and I have not played anything else since, and probably won't be playing anything else for a little while.
So I have got a question. Did they do a Fortnite style live event?
No, they have done it before. Basically, so on a Tuesday at about, I think it's about 5 p.m. our time, the servers always go down for about an hour for like scheduled maintenance, and it was basically within that hour that they did because normally Bungie will tell you what's coming in the new season a few weeks prior to the release, and they'll be like, this is going to be the story, this is going to be everything you're going to be doing, here's all the changes. There was none of that. We knew the name of it, and also that Mara Sov, returning character, was going to come back. We didn't know anything else going into this season, so the servers went down at like 5 p.m, and at 5 p.m. the Bungie showcase started, which was also a showcase for the Witch Queen expansion, which is coming in January next year. And then it also showed us what we're going to be doing in the new season. That finished at like 5:30. 6 o'clock the servers went back up, and then the new season was live. So that was really, really cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, we're in Season of the Lost, which it's going to be the last season before the new expansion next year. I don't want to go too deep on the lore because I realise we're already at like 2 hours, and if I want to give the full backstory for this season, probably take us about another hour.
Yeah. So just quickly, I ended up really enjoying the story in the last season. But they have now revealed that Osiris is definitely Savathun, right?
Yes, but Osiris has been Savathun since Osiris first came back into the game, which is kind of wild because...
Oh, really? Has it been that? Okay, shit.
Yeah, so as soon as Osiris has come back, he has been Savathun, which means Savathun has essentially orchestrated the entirety of Crow joining the Vanguard. Everything to do with... Keitel and also protecting Zavala from getting assassinated. That was all like Savathun's doing, which is kind of wild. She was the one who kind of messed up the Vex invasion at the end of the last season and killed off Lakshmi. So yeah, essentially she's been orchestrating almost everything for the last like year or so.
We should explain for normal people. Basically, that one of the best goodies has turned out to be the worst baddie. That's pretty much.
Oh, the old switcheroo, eh?
Yeah.
But now that big baddie, she is in a vulnerable state. Basically, she is infested with a hive worm, and she's enlisted our help to get rid of it. Which obviously, so Savathun in the lore is known as the Queen of Lies, and it's. Infamously, you cannot trust a single thing she says. And Mara Sov is Queen of the Awoken, which is one of like the playable races in the game. She died, in quotes, back in Destiny 1, during the Taken King expansion. She kind of came back in the Forsaken expansion of Destiny 2 a couple of years ago. But it was very much like she was talking to you from this other plane of existence. She is now back in the real world, and basically she's saying that yes, Savathun is probably up to no good secretly, but once we remove this worm from her, she'll be vulnerable. So let's play along and see how this plays out. But in order for Mara Sov to essentially get all of her power back, she needs her Techians, who are essentially her handmaiden tech witch sidekick sort of thing. So over the course of the season, we are going into this other plane of existence, the Ascendant Realm, looking for these tech witches. And it does this through what's essentially almost like a Metroidvania type activity. Yes. Yeah. So, so basically there's two new activities in this season. There's I can't remember what it's called. It basically puts you and 6 people together, and you just kill a whole bunch of enemies. Big boss at the end. You have to carry things and put things in other things. It's all very Destiny seasonal event stuff that we've done a lot of before.
Killing Vex, are we?
Yeah.
Shooting Vex heads us?
killing a whole bunch of Taken and some Scorn.
Okay,
pop up at the
Because
beginning.
Trials of Osiris is back, isn't it? Is that it? Or
No, Trials of Osiris. Trials of Osiris is actually having like a load of changes when it starts back up to basically let people who aren't good at PvP play it.
Oh, okay. I'll look forward to that.
I like the fact that's a trend at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon it'd be bots? Is it bots?
Bot matches.
It's matchmaking, so you don't have to have a group of 3 other people, and they're basically giving us terrible PvPers like consolation prizes. If you want the best weapons, you've got to be really good at it with 2 other mates who are really good at it. But if you just matchmake and play a couple matches, you'll get like a consolation prize. But the other event of this season is the Shattered Realm, where basically it's like the Taken's plane of existence, the Ascendant Realm. And you go into it, you have to align these beacons, kill some Taken, and then at the end you rescue one of the tech witches. But you can unlock abilities which let you explore more of the area. And then week by week, you will unlock more and more abilities, allowing you to explore more and more of the area, which is really cool. At the moment,
Nice.
I've only got one of the abilities, but yeah, it's very much going to be one of those things that kind of expands week upon week upon week. Which
I think that's because that I know it wasn't like last season wasn't the first time they'd done that sort of thing, but last season was the first time I really got into it, where it was like, oh, this is like, as well as the mechanics changing up a bit week by week, like the story was progressing week by week as well.
Yes,
and that just felt like a really cool thing, like it was all playing out in real time, and I was somehow involved. Nice.
Yeah, the story in Destiny is getting really, really, really good. Basically, the lines between light and darkness are starting to become very, very, very blurry. And Bungie also announced that so obviously we've got Witch Queen coming in early 2022. The next expansion after that is Lightfall. The final expansion, not of Destiny 2, but of what they're calling the Light and Darkness Saga, is the Final Shape, which I had to do a bit of reading into, but once you read into the lore, that is huge. And then, they're doing huge changes to Trials of Osiris, so basically making it a lot more accessible to people who aren't hardcore into PvP. All of the subclasses are having big changes to them, starting with Void. Yeah, Destiny is in a really, really, really good place at the moment, and with everything they showed off of the new expansion for February, sorry. It's a really exciting time to be into Destiny 2. So that's probably going to be my life.
You've got to pay for that stuff. The expansion.
I think for the seasons you do, don't you? You need the season pass. But with Game Pass, I believe we get Witch Queen for free when it comes out. Do we not?
Witch Queen. So Beyond Light was part of. If you have Game Pass, you will have Forsaken, Shadowkeep, and Beyond Light. So all the 3 current expansions, you will have those for free. I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that Witch Queen will not be part of it.
Okay.
Will not be part of Game Pass. But also, they also told us that crossplay was going to be coming early in Season 15. Season 15 is the one we're in, so I was expecting, Destiny servers normally fall down at the start of a season. So I was like, fair enough, they'll give it a couple weeks, let the servers sort themselves out, and then they'll turn crossplay on. And then during the showcase, they were like, oh yeah, so crossplay goes live today. So Destiny 2 now has crossplay.
Amazing.
Which means I think I'm actually about to rebuy all the expansions on PS5 because apparently the game does look a lot nicer on PS5 than it does on my... Well, I mean, I'm only running with a Xbox Series S. So at the least, I'll get it in true 4K.
Yeah.
You need to play it on the next-gen console, Matt?
Don't want to talk about it. Hi, Sarah. Matt Murray, TCGS. I've got a question. Are they not going to rename it just to Destiny? Does it not feel a bit silly? We've got Destiny, Destiny 2, should they not just lose the two? Destiny, like say World of Warcraft, it's an evolving game. It does not feel silly that it's got two at the end. I mean, are we going to have Destiny 3? Should they not just keep evolving on the single name?
Yeah. That's the thing. I think most people I know do just call it Destiny. I mean, I've been playing since the first one. And from what they were saying, because obviously, so there's another 3 expansions to come, basically, but Bungie have made it very, very clear that this isn't the end of Destiny 2. It's just the end of this very large story arc. So they don't have plans to move to Destiny 3 at any point. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, those servers are still turned on for Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Like, servers for that are still up, so I feel like maybe at some point down the line, that when they turn off those Destiny 1 servers, they might then just change it and just have it as just Destiny. But yeah.
Wait, so you're saying that I could play Destiny on the 360?
Yeah.
And it would still...
Yes, and there are still people playing it.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know how many, but the Bungie Help Twitter occasionally is like, oh yeah, Destiny 1 servers are back up now, and it's like, I didn't realise that they were up to go down to come back up. But
and as you say, it's frustrating because so the reason you can't just say that you play Destiny is that there is a chance that you might mean Destiny 1 still.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation. I know, like we said a while back, didn't we?
About or rumored, or is it just like is it just like an idea? Have they ever rumored or teased the idea of actually maybe they could rebrand it just to Destiny?
I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I know they've had talks with people. There was a whole event where they had a load of content creators in and stuff, and they said look, you all keep banging on about when are we moving on to Destiny 3? And basically Bungie's question was why do you keep asking that? What is it you think we can't do? Right, and without moving on to a new season, and basically a lot of stuff was taken on board, and they, Destiny 2 is unrecognizable from when it first launched. At this point.
They've still got.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say they've still got so many big changes that they're going to just be making within Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm. So it's fucking exciting. I'm really I just because I've got other stuff to play at the moment, I probably won't get into this season, but I am very excited about the Witch Queen starting. I think that's going to be a big I feel like it's the game's gathered a lot of momentum again this year, but trying to get new people in just at a new season is a bad idea, I've found. I feel like a new expansion is the way to do it, but
I mean, this season is going to be a long one. Normally seasons are 3 months, whereas this one is closer to 6 months. But then in December, we have got Bungie's sort of 30th anniversary celebrations. It's almost going to be... It's a small content drop that is going to be paid for, but it's almost going to be like a very mini season. So we're getting like a dungeon... bunch of new armor sets and Galahorn they're putting back in it.
Oh, blimey.
Oh, yes.
Galahorn.
But nice. It's been a very, very good week to be a Destiny player, and with everything that's coming, I'm pretty much as soon as the showcase finished, I jumped onto the Bungie store website, had to sit in a queue for half an hour to get on and pre-order the collector's edition, and then booked a week off work for it. So I'm ready for February.
Nice. Hardcore.
Cool.
Right.
Should we do questions?
Let's do questions.
All right. If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Colin Ross Wilson says, I would like to know if Sarah streams. I have a free Prime subscription, and I've decided to give it to someone who actually streams instead of a group of people who don't.
That's fair.
If not, could Sarah recommend a channel that has had a stream in the last 2 weeks? Thank you. Love, Colin.
I mean, I do stream, but on my work account, so we do not have subscriptions turned on for that.
Oh, you could turn them off.
I think so.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Dave's just like, oh, this money just keeps arriving. I'm like, no, stop
we just want it to stop.
No, I just genuinely didn't know that was a thing. But I suppose, it makes sense.
I do have my own Twitch, but I don't stream very often. It's something I keep telling myself, like, I will get back and do it, but
Give it another couple of appearances and you'll be streaming on the TCGS account. Do you know what I mean? Very much have subs on. So
I'm just having a look through some of my follows for a follow list to see if I can recommend someone who has streamed recently or who streams quite often.
In the last 2 weeks was the requirement.
In the
from
last
Colin. He's
2
very,
weeks.
very particular, so.
Oh.
See, everyone stopped. It's not just us. Okay, cool.
Yeah. No one streams anymore. It's over, mate.
I'm gonna go. So it's not video game related, but I'm gonna go ahead and say sub to Bethany Black. I will spell BEFFERNIE Black. She is an actress and comedian. She was in I think a couple of episodes of Doctor Who a while back, but at every lunchtime she's just like, I'm just gonna have a cup of tea and a chat, and you can just go and hang out and have a lovely cup of tea and a chat with her. And yeah, she's just a wonderful, wonderful human. So yeah, it's not video game related, but just
probably for the best, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, you probably get a lot of video game stuff, especially if you've got, you know, if you're looking for streamers on Twitch. So yeah, someone a little bit different.
Cool. Undercart says, question for Sarah, do you think we'll ever get a good wrestling game again?
Oh, probably not anytime soon. I know AEW have got, they've released one, which is their general manager mobile game, which is terrible. I didn't even make it through the tutorials. It's just all the worst parts of time-gated mobile sim games going. It's horrible. The full console version really doesn't look good. It just looks like a bad 2K wrestling game, and that's saying something considering the 2K wrestling games haven't been very good for a very long while.
Is it just that they sell anyway? Like, do they just not need to be good? Is it one of those? Yeah.
They have done something though, because they didn't release a 2K WWE game this last year, did they?
No, they're taking a year off.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was a mess the year before, and there were rumours that the next one could be good, but I don't know enough about that world to.
I know that apparently there's a lot of tension between WWE and 2K, because 2K obviously spends a lot of time mocapping and modelling and putting these wrestlers into the game, and then WWE just sacks the wrestlers without a moment's notice, so that they have to get taken out of the game.
Jesus.
So that's a whole thing. But yeah, apparently, I mean, the Jax AEW one hasn't had a huge amount shown from it. Even if it looks like garbage, maybe it will at least play pretty well. Maybe. I guess we'll see. Fire Pro Wrestling on Steam is meant to be very, 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 very good. Especially, I think that's also got like a general manager sim mode for it as well. That's meant to be quite good. So yeah, go play Fire Pro Wrestling, and that should hopefully do you for a little while.
it's probably a licensing nightmare, but release WCW versus NWO Revenge on Switch, and you're done. You're done. That's the one.
No mercy. Get no mercy out there.
No Mercy was the ones that come late. The Revenge crew.
I was always a Def Jam Fight for New York guy, but whatever.
No,
you come really late then.
The original WWF SmackDown on the PlayStation 1. That was my one.
Oh god, I remember that. Yeah, we played that a lot as well. Okay.
All right. Last one's from Ricky Cartwright. It says, "Hey guys,
last one."
Yeah, I've got a fucking really bad headache, and I've got to go to a wedding tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough.
Ricky Cartwright says, "Hey guys, I'll save the other ones. There's some pretty good ones. I'm fucked." Ricky Cartwright says, "Hey guys, I wondered if you'd ever considered signing up for Cameo. Who do you think would make the most money? And looking at the competition on there, how much do you think realistically you could charge per video? Perhaps you could have a competition where the four of you sign up and we see who makes the most money over a month. Appreciate you all."
Oh god, that would I'd like that.
That would be funny.
I would. If you were legitimately doing it, Sean, come on, put a price on.
How much? I don't know what the going rate is. I've never really looked.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look.
Yeah. Let's.
While you do, how about
we
you?
Definitely
Matt?
discussed this in the past because I think we all said James would make bank.
James would make the most money.
That was the conversation about OnlyFans, wasn't it?
I think we've had Cameo as well in the past.
True. I mean, if OnlyFans go ahead with banning sexual content, then James has got no chance. But
no, they've already reversed that, thankfully. So James is back on.
Cool.
Yeah.
You could get a cameo from Dave Mustaine, Grammy Award-winning musician, for £224, but he does do it within 24 hours for you.
Oh well, that's all right.
Wait,
clearly, he's not got a lot of song.
We're keeping on the wrestling theme. Ric Flair, Sean, have a guess.
Fucking hell. I bet he's really fucking expensive. I bet he's like 300 quid or something.
Oh, not far. 375
Blimey.
your British pounds.
I do like how he's listed as a WWE superstar when he's not anymore, because he is one of the people who WWE shockingly just decided to sack.
Hey, you can have a sticking with the theme.
Okay.
You can have a one-to-one video call with Mick Foley for $99.
Okay.
Bargain. He's apparently a lovely man as well.
Yeah. I've heard like on podcasts and stuff. He's really not even being hugely into wrestling. He's just interesting guy.
Chris Hansen from Dateline NBC. you know Chris Hansen?
I don't think I do.
The Take a Seat guy. Have you never heard of To Catch a Predator?
Oh,
To Catch a Predator.
Sorry, yes.
Just take a seat right there, sir. Right, go. What? How much?
Oh, I don't know. 100 quid.
£56.
Whoa.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, man.
That is an absolute bargain.
Yeah.
How about Ernie Hudson, the guy that played? Oh, what was the character's name from? I fuck this because I love Ghostbusters. Name the Ghostbusters. It's not Egon. It's not. Oh, I can't believe I've forgotten the Ghostbuster
No, it's not Ray
names.
because that's thingy.
It's not Ray. Hold on, Ghostbusters name.
Is this what we got to?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I can't believe I've forgotten them. That's absolutely horrendous. Winston Zedmore. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with my brain? So the actor that played Winston Zedmore.
Right. I don't know.
124.
Jesus.
That is quite a lot, isn't it?
I mean,
Gilbert Gottfried is 131.
Oh my god! I would have thought he could charge more. Everything he says is hilarious.
Well, not everything he says. He's quite a controversial figure, isn't he?
Oh yeah, true. You know what I mean?
Sarah Palin's on Cameo.
No.
Hard times.
£187 a pop.
I mean, based off these, I think I'd be lucky to get 15 quid.
You've gone higher than I would.
Okay.
I would say
arrogant Sean with his £15 valuation.
I would say a tenner.
You're going to say tenner. Well, I'm going to have to drop mine then, aren't I?
Why?
Well, because there's no point. Yeah, but no one's going to. If you can get Dave for a tenner, you're not going to pay 15 for Sean, are you?
No, it's not about that. It's about providing more value, Sean, for the 15 quid.
I feel like, though, if you're running the competition where the four of you sign up and compete, in the interest of fairness, you need to agree on a single rate.
The same. Yeah,
but I don't know, but
isn't
isn't part of the fun that, if we're setting our own rates, then, it's like,
no, hold on. Yeah, surely the competition is not... Because that brings the extra element into it. It's not how many people order a Cameo, it's how much money you make. That's the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you lowball it, if you're going,
I'll say mine
£5,
50p. And then
you say yours for 50p.
Profit.
You get all of a sudden you're in trouble, aren't you? Because I've done one, and I've tripled your income, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How about that?
Yeah, but how many mark you get for 50p? I mean, one is the
Not
answer, but yeah.
I reckon James would absolutely walk this, because
no
you've got
contest.
the element of people wanting a video from James Farley, right? But you've also got the fact that people will do it because they know it annoys him that he's got to do a video.
Well, that's because he's the least up for it, and that's why it's funnier to make him do stuff.
It does say on the Cameo pages how quickly the turnaround time is. And with James, it'll be like 4 months.
Maybe.
Most of them 24 hours. But Sarah, what's your price? What are you doing? How much are we paying for Sarah Dyer Cameo?
I don't know. I mean, I could this is definitely somewhere where I think the gender imbalance could probably play in my favour, you know? It's like everyone says, like women just use the internet to make money, so
Why not?
People say.
Why not?
Yeah, you know, when everyone gets bad, you know, like, did you not know that on Twitch you just have to wear a low cut top and then you just have the money just come pouring in if you're a woman
that easy.
on Twitch?
Yeah,
that's how easy it is. So
I
don't
try
know.
that.
I'll just wear a tank top and set the price at like 70 quid and see what happens.
Absolutely walk it.
Yeah, we should try
Smash
that.
the shit out of it.
Isaac always tells me I've got boobies, so I think it's worth a go.
Okay, what you're going to crack out the tank top, Matt?
Yeah.
Is that
Fuck
the
it.
plan?
Do I have to shave my chest first? I don't know what people want.
I don't know though, because if you
get a
don't,
discount?
if you don't shave, that's a niche market right
Exactly.
there.
Yeah,
Pay
there's
It's
a
the
yourself
thing.
that.
It's tricky, isn't it? It's difficult, this stuff.
You gotta try different targeting, different audiences, and see where you land.
Yeah.
Sean suddenly going, I get it now. It is tricky, isn't it? I don't know whether to... okay, well, maybe that's something we could do in the near future. Matt, can you put that on the ideas pile, please?
Yes.
The Cameo competition. And that's well, I mean, I know for a fact that's not it, but are you done, Sean?
I am about to be sick. So,
okay,
yeah.
Sarah, feel free to just go, because Matt's about to do the socials.
Not much of our socials these days, are they? They're pretty bare. There's zero streams. Dark Halls we're rerunning. That's Friday mornings.
I've been listening to Dark Halls. It's been quite enjoyable.
Oh, I don't know. I listened to this week's episode and I thought, fucking hell, I told James to man up on this week's episode, and I was like, oh god, yeah. It was, I mean, it's funny how language changes in the space of 5 years.
I have to say though, you didn't think of putting it on Spotify? No, making me change my apps to go listen to Dark Halls.
No, it is on Spotify.
Is it? I have
What
to
I
change
mean
over
is-
to Apple Podcasts. I had to go find where I'd hidden it on my phone.
The problem is, Sarah, he did announce that it was on Spotify in the socials of last week's show, so you might have missed that.
Yeah, it's definitely on there. I mean,
Yeah, I just found it, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on there now. Maybe when I started listening to it, it wasn't on there, but I definitely
you play through Dark Souls, Sarah?
I have not. I started playing Demon Souls, and I keep telling myself I'll be back to it, but that hasn't happened
How
yet.
are you listening to that podcast then? Because it is literally us going, turn left there, go down the bridge, and
I've played a few hours of Dark Souls, and I've also watched a lot of people play it.
yeah, I bet. I mean, you get addicted to watching the streams of people playing through that. Matt's one was particularly good. I mean, we'll just watch how we beat Ornstein and Smo. It is an absolute classic. But yeah, thanks. That was a fun show to do, and hopefully I don't use any other strange phrases that made me cringe when I listened back to it this week any further into the podcast. So fingers crossed, eh?
Fingers crossed. Yeah. So that's our Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. If you want an exclusive podcast, live talk servers, and all the rest, tcgs.co is the website for everything else with the links to our Discord. And yeah, that's it.
So how are we feeling now? How's the atmosphere? How's the beef towards the end of this podcast, Matt?
I've been mugged off less this podcast, so I think from my side, I wouldn't say beef squashed, but beef kind of pressed a bit.
Gently squeezed.
Gently squeezed a bit.
You've got some gently squeezed beef. Sarah,
I'm confused about where this been mugged off less has come from.
Well,
implying that there's still been some mugging off. I'm very confused
some at the beginning.
where.
So there was a little bit at the beginning, wasn't there? Yeah. You did say that when it got to his portion of the show, you turned off. There was that bit. Remember, Sarah?
Yeah. Did you forget that bit, Sarah?
I'm pretty sure I managed to pull my turning off of the socials back by saying that I already follow you on everything. So
yeah. It's just simply redundant.
Good point.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll call that a draw.
Thank you so much for coming on again. It's been another great performance. So we will be in touch again, I'm sure. And yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me back.
And thanks to everyone for living it out there. We will catch you on next week's show. James is back. I'm sure he's going to be so irritated because, as previously mentioned, he's on a different time zone now. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens to him.
Yeah, how's that going to work?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. But we'll catch you all later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.